Morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Wednesday. Great to be here with you this morning. And we say it every day. Wet. It's wet and nasty outside. It sucks. We get it. We get it, Mother Nature. You're very powerful. And you can impose your will at will. And we understand. We have taken you for granted here in San Diego, and you are very powerful and strong, and we've had enough at this point, I think. Good morning, everybody. I'm Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl. He's our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
At the point that we started getting tornado warnings yesterday, I think that was the...
We understand.
Waving the white flag to Mother Nature.
We get it. You're so strong, and you're so powerful, and you're just ever-present and omnipresent, and you're just so powerful, and we appreciate you. Speaking of... omnipresent and ever powerful. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Hello, everybody.
Very moist out there today.
It was wet. Yeah, I had to shake my jacket off when I came in this morning. It was soaked. And I think this is the last worst of the storm.
Is it?
Yeah, Megan Perry last night was going. The final big cells are coming through on the early commute this morning. And then... should be the end of the storm. That's the good news. The bad news is she's tracking another one that's coming tomorrow.
Oh, killer.
And Friday, which is not quite as big or as bad and bold as the one that we just had. But, we're not quite done with the rain for the week.
I was in a bit of a trance this morning. It'll get you, right? I'm driving in, and I'm in the far right lane. I was actually in the slow lane going about 50 miles an hour. And the headlights, there were a lot of people. Traffic was kind of slowing down a little bit. And the lights... with the rain coming down so hard, hitting the ground, and then looking like it was coming back up, and the lights and the music that was on, I was in a trance. And I had to shake myself out of it. Like, oh, all right, and here's my exit. And I got off. It took me I drove really slow, which I don't do ever. I never drive slow. I drove 50 miles an hour the whole way here because I did not want to hydroplane off the road. It was raining so hard by the time I got near work. Today would be a good day. If you've got some PTO or a sick day to use them, I probably could have used a sick day today. I don't feel fantastic. I love children. I love my kids especially. But boy, are they... it just feels like it never ends. This is never going to go away. This cough and snot and all of it. It just feels like it's never going away.
Yeah, since the pandemic, we've had the... I think there's been more of an awareness, like let's try not to infect our colleagues and stay home when we're sick.
I can't do it.
If you did that, I would literally never see you.
Correct.
Because you're constantly being inundated by your children's germs.
Like I would have to get the whole home studio set up, which, by the way, I have 2 small kids at home. I don't know that I could be like, all right, did you guys see Drake's video yesterday? Let's have a conversation about that. Let's talk about the Aztecs while my kids and my wife are getting ready for school. Speaking of Drake's video, did you guys see Drake's video yesterday?
I did not see any Drake
saw that
video.
He was trending, and I saw why he was trending, and I said, I don't need to see that.
Oh, look, I'm a journalist.
Did you stumble upon it?
No,
or did
I went and looked for it. Yeah, of course. Which I saw a lot after I did that. I saw a lot of people saying, "There's grown men out there really searching for Drake's video." I didn't know I didn't know the gist of it. All I saw was. I saw Drake's video. Drake did something. And I said, well, I want to see what he did. And I wish that I hadn't.
Oh, see, I saw why everybody was talking about him, at least. And I was able to put 2 and 2 together, and I go, I'm good.
I didn't know. So I just went and searched it. And when I saw it, I went, oh, my God. That's and allegedly he was on his private plane, spending some alone time with himself. But...
Stroganoff.
The problem was, it's very overt. The problem was...
he's Canadian.
That's not a problem.
That is not the problem.
That's not the problem, but he's got a good exchange rate, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No.
He's... Yes. It's
a favorable exchange rate.
So Anthony says his music sucks so bad he had to drop something else. So here's the thing. I saw a lot of... let me set the scene for you as best I can. Drake's on his private plane, again, spending some alone time with himself. There's a cell phone in his hand, and he's using that. And he's doing that, and So it's clearly someone else is on the plane because they're filming. So my question was, well, if there's someone else on the plane, you don't do it in plain sight. Maybe you go to the bathroom. Maybe you go to the bedroom.
Somebody was filming him. He wasn't like...
No, it wasn't filming himself. Somebody was filming him from afar, from, let's say, 20 feet away. And it's not wide open. They were doing it surreptitiously, but somebody was still... That could have happened. Somebody could have walked in while you were like, hey, ho.
He was assuming a level of privacy that
wasn't
did not
there.
exist.
That's
on
exactly
his plane.
right. So now the rumor is that he leaked it himself. I'll tell you this. I would have done the same thing if that's what was happening down below.
That's
you know what I mean? You want that out. You want that. But again, he's rich as hell. He's famous as hell. It doesn't really matter. Like at that point, like why? He's just really cementing his legacy here. I have a newfound respect for
Carlos
Drake.
says he was filming himself on the mirror.
Oh, it was in the mirror. Is that what it was? Okay.
What plane has a mirror?
Yeah. Okay.
It's more likely I can believe it more that he was filming himself in a mirror
I believe
rather than
that.
somebody was just standing there
but
filming him.
But that's also very weird. Yes?
I mean, for normal people, that would be very weird.
It's not as weird as having somebody standing 10 feet away and
That's
filming
true.
you.
That's true. All right. Well,
I mean, you know you're not alone on the plane because someone's flying the plane.
The pilot comes back like, hey, I just want to tell you we may hit some turbulence. Ah! She's just like, oh, no, not right now. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just go back into the
It's probably
cockpit.
some sort of flight attendant in addition to the pilot.
I would imagine.
Co-pilot. I mean, at the minimum, there's 4 people on this plane.
Tevin says, I can't believe we're talking about this. Listen, we get off on a tangent in the off season. You know that. Sorry. I just was telling you about our day yesterday. But, so I left here, and before I don't know what that is, but I love it.
I don't either.
No, he says, let's move on. Yeah, we're going to do that. I got off on a tangent because that's something I did later in the day. When I left here, I went to pick up Bo from school. To bust him out early. And I was going to take him to Jersey Mike's. And then I thought to myself, well, what am I doing? We have hours. We have hours to burn. So I thought, you know where he loves more than anything? Dave & Buster's. So I went, picked him up from school. Now, I got there just in time because I was going to break him out for lunch. We had to do a commercial. So I show up. He's in the lunch line when I get there. And he's got his lunch in his hand. I'm like, crap. You don't have to eat this lunch. He walks up. He's got a.
Why'd you send him with a lunch if you knew you were picking him up?
He got hot lunch. Oh. So we didn't send him with a lunch. So he got hot lunch because he was like, "Where's my dad? He's supposed to be here." But we had the delay, and this dude. You know what he had for his lunch? He had 3 chicken fingers, and I don't know, a half a pound of just shredded cheese in his little tub, and a chocolate milk. And I go, "What's this?" And he's like, "That's my lunch." I go, is this what you get at hot lunch? And he's like, yeah, we can pick, what I'm like, no veggies, no fruits, just a trough of, it was like one of those cardboard things full of shredded cheese with 3 chicken fingers on top. I'm like,
Bo, say when?
Yeah, say when. He's like, keep it coming. More. I was dying. I was like, what is this? And so I dumped it out, and I was like, here, eat one of your chicken fingers. Here's your chocolate milk. I dumped the cheese out, and I took him to Dave & Buster's, and we played video games till his heart was content. Then we go to Benihana for dinner, and I tweeted it last night. We got the Neil Peart of Benihana chefs. His name was Jorge. The last time we went, I'm not kidding you, it was the guy's first time. So he was like, ding, 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 ding. He had no idea. He couldn't flip anything. He was cutting the shrimp tails off like 1, 2, 3. This guy did magic. He had 1 egg. He was spinning it. He put the bowl down over it. He lifted the bowl. There were 2 eggs. It was incredible. He was spinning the spatula on his finger for like a minute solid. My kids were like, oh my God. He was throwing shrimp tails, flipping them, eggs in his hat. The dude was incredible. Shout out to Jorge at Carlsbad Benihana. You made our night. Like Bo's face is just like, I can't believe this. He was the best I've ever seen.
Dinner and a show.
He was the GOAT last night. So that was a lot of fun. We had a great time for his birthday. So I said to Hannah, well, we're out of things to celebrate. We had our anniversary, and we had Bo's birthday, and she goes, "Oh, don't forget, Valentine's Day's next week." And I said, yes, Valentine's Day next week. So we'll do a little show for the lovers out there next week, I'm sure.
Yes. It's also my wedding anniversary next week.
Next week?
Yeah, we've got I've got some things to celebrate coming up, and then we've got spring training, which I think is always a reason to celebrate. Starting on Sunday, San Diego Padres season coming up right around the corner, and we will be talking about your Padres today. Got a new potential rumor out there, not necessarily involving the Padres, but you're looking for an outfielder who's available. One that I heard being talked about that could be on the trade market. And John Heyman was talking about the trade market as well when it comes to the Padres and outfielders. So is A.J. Preller working on anything? If he is, keeping it very close to the vest right now, because you're not hearing much in terms of, hey, the Padres have been linked to this guy or that guy. It just hasn't happened much this offseason. But I think we all know that sometimes the Padres and A.J. make moves without being linked to a move beforehand.
And that's pretty much what John Heyman was saying, that he doesn't expect the Padres to go out and sign perhaps a Jorge Soler or any of the remaining free agents left on the market. He does feel like that they are probably pretty active in trade talks right now, trying to get creative on a deal with some teams. And we'll tell you about the latest rumor, one I've been seeing for a couple of weeks from some pretty smart Padre fans in the know, thinking it might be a good fit.
All right, we will set the menu, get started on our Wednesday program. I will tell everybody that it's a Skip Schumaker day. I'll just leave it at that, and we'll get you into the specifics coming up. When we return, it is Ben and Woods. Let's check traffic. It is very wet out there in portions of San Diego County. Be very careful. Kelly will get you updated as we get started here. Good morning to everybody. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Aztecs coming home from Colorado Springs with a win last night. There was a little drama behind the scenes. We'll get into that coming up at 6:35 this morning in just a little while. You guys watch the game?
Half.
Stay up?
First half.
First half?
Yeah.
7:30. Actually, by the time they started the game, it was more
late.
like 7:45. It was a pretty late start last night on FS1.
It was fun watching the UConn-Butler game, watching how good UConn is, and Butler tried to make a game of it, but then the Aztec game started, and man, I was so cashed, and I only slept about 15 minutes last night, but I think that was the 15 minutes I fell asleep.
Took a little melatonin right at tip-off, was out at halftime.
I want to have melatonin talk at some point. Write that down. I would like to have melatonin talk at some point in the show, maybe today, tomorrow, whatever.
Happy to do it.
We have lots of room to explore the space.
You mean us riff on something that is not sports related
Correct.
for once?
Yeah,
Finally?
for once. Finally. God. Stretch our legs a little bit. God.
I actually didn't see the end of the UConn-Butler game because, for whatever reason, our Cox cable at Channel 10 doesn't get FS1. I mean,
you're in the chamber.
It's supposed to.
Ours does.
No, I mean, it's on the channel lineup, and we subscribe to it. There's some sort of technical difficulty that they can't fix, and it just says this channel not available, and they haven't been able to figure out why we don't get it. So I streamed it. I just went online to FS1 and found it streaming, but they weren't streaming the previous game. I clicked on the Aztecs game at 7:30 thinking, okay, 7:30 start, but they just had the screen that was telling me your program is about to begin.
See, we had the Butler game, and on the bottom there was a scroll that said tip off for the Aztecs
pushed
Air
back.
Force, 7:45.
I assume that I've watched enough Aztecs basketball. Every game gets pushed back.
But wait, so they don't just go joining in progress ever?
They do on CBS Sports Network.
They try
They do it all the time. They'll bump it like 10 minutes and I guess maybe 15 tops. And if it's going to be longer than that, you've got to start the game.
Like if the game last night went to overtime or something, like it would have been a JIP for San Diego State and Air Force.
Okay. But I kept assuming it was going to start. All I got was that screen that said, FS1, your game is about to begin. And it just kept playing the Fox football music. Dun 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 dun, and then it would just dun 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 dun.
So you think that's like glitching, maybe?
Yeah, and I kept wondering what's going on. So I kept checking like the ESPN scoreboard. Like, is this game underway? Am I missing it?
He was in the chamber, man. You know he was. He was like, come
on, dun 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 dun. Just constantly for like 10 minutes, I had it up, and I'm going, this is driving me crazy. But I don't want to miss the start of the game. And it did finally kick in. And speaking of Fox streaming, I want to talk about coming up in our 7 o'clock hour, the big announcement yesterday by ESPN, Fox, and Warner Discovery, which is TNT, TBS, of a new sports streaming platform that is coming later this year, and how it will and will not change your sports viewing habits. I've tried to kind of dig into a little bit more of what this is, what it's going to look like. Do we need it? Are we going to have to order this if we're going to watch sports? And we'll talk about that. Woods has asked me to Ben-splain a little bit.
Yes, please.
What it means. And I don't know every answer, but I can give you a few answers at least on this new streamer and what it means for sports fans. We'll talk about that in our 7 o'clock hour. Take on Woods, Don't Do This, our regular segments, qualify another listener, hopefully, for a trip to Las Vegas. Well, you hope not, because that would mean you'd lost.
I don't mind losing.
We'll try to qualify someone. But then, excited, because at 7:35 today, we will be kicking off one of our new annual traditions. We call it our Tier 1 Tour. It's actually very sports radio-ish.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that you let us do this, but we go team by team in Major League Baseball, counting down. And we did the math, so we have 29 shows remaining before the Padres open the season against the Dodgers in Korea. So we wanted to take one team every single show from now until then, and we're going to preview. Oh, Paulie's written it all out in an incredible graphic that just has the order of everyone we're going. So today we're going to start in the East, work our way west, And we're going to begin with the Miami Marlins. Now, we won't have a guest every single time. Sometimes we'll just go through some of the moves that the team's made in the offseason and discuss it. But when we have the reason to bring on a guest, we will.
I don't need a guest for the Washington Nationals.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, some of them you do, and we have friends that cover the teams, and we'll talk to our friends, and we'll have a good baseball discussion with them. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to predict where they're going to finish in their division. Paulie's going to keep track of those. And then at the end, we'll put our names on it and throw it out there on social media and see how we end up at the end of the year.
But we do happen to have a Tier 1 in Miami who's a pretty big Marlins fan and knows the team fairly well.
Yes.
So at 7:35, the manager of the Miami Marlins, Skip Schumaker, will join us to talk about, I mean, Padres fans, you think your offseason's been quiet.
It's been slow.
I'm almost
scared
afraid
to talk to
ask
him. I know.
Skip about it. They have signed 0 free agents. Zero is the number. With the new general manager, Peter Bendix, who came in and replaced Kim Ng. They've done some front office work, hiring different people like Gabe Kapler and Rachel Balkovec for their front office. But when it comes to players, they made a couple of trades, nothing gigantic, and 0 free agent signings. But they're coming off a playoff season and a team that was on the rise and was one of the more exciting surprise teams last year. So can Skip do it again and prove himself to be the undisputed manager of the year in baseball?
Well, they're going to say, we're taking away a ton of the guys that you've had, because they've lost some guys too. I mean, remember, Jorge Soler's not coming back, more than likely. He's a free agent right now. They've lost some players, Ben, and they're going to say, yeah, I mean, figure it out. Go out and make the playoffs again with less talent than you had going into it, and that's assuming they end the offseason like that. We can ask him about it. I'm sure it's frustrating for him. You come off a playoff appearance, you want to add to your team. I know the fan base is frustrated. I follow a few of their bloggers and podcasters as well. They got some smart fans down there, man, that are really passionate about that team, and it's got to be tough for him. So I don't want to belabor the point, but yeah, we are having a Handsome Fest at 7:35. There's one member in the Handsome Club, and that's Skip Schumaker.
So we'll be firing up the bus again for the tier 1 tour. We have souped up the engine, purring like a kitten, as you can hear. It is ready to go. Maybe after it's traveled to 29 different camps, it might start sounding a little rough. But right now, look. It is humming. It's moving right now. So, Tier 1 tour begins at 7:35.
That's the Ben Bus.
On the Ben Bus across the country, starting in Miami, and we're just gonna wind our way around the country until we make our way back to the West Coast to start the season with the San Diego Padres on March 20th. Against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Here we go.
Second half of the program. So I saw some, I don't want to call it panic, but Baseball Prospectus released their latest PECOTA win projections, where they simply just take rosters and they simulate seasons like thousands of times based on their statistical projections of what each player is going to do. And the Padres didn't do very well in their projections, and people are not so happy about that, worried about what the team may look like. So we'll talk about those predictions and what the statistical models say about your team in our 8 o'clock hour. Got our Reindl Report in the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to be giving away more Padres spring training tickets and entering more people for the giveaway for the Southwest Airlines on the hotel stay to get you out to Peoria, Arizona next month as well for spring training. So have I covered everything?
I think you have,
The
my
menu
friend.
is good.
The menu's good.
I can't do the Benihana chef thing and
nobody can, like
magic
him.
tricks and stuff, but I can lay out a menu as good as anyone for the start of a 4-hour show
That's
today.
exactly right.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk a little Aztecs. They did get a road win last night at Air Force. You guys missed the second half. You saw the important part of the game, I'd say.
Yep.
That is coming up next with Bennett Woods. Glad to have you with us on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Do you know you can listen to 97.3 The Fan on your smart speaker? Just ask your device just to play 97.3 The Fan. Give it a shot. Very easy. All right, gonna get into last night's San Diego State basketball game. Took care of business, which doesn't always happen in the Mountain West, especially on the road, but they played one of their better halves of the season. Talk about that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Got a handful of hot spots on our very wet roadways this morning. Crash did clear out of the bus lane, though, on northbound 15 past Adams Avenue. Accident on westbound 8 before Mission Gorge. Those vehicles are mostly in the center divide. Seems the North County's got the brunt of all the problems, all due to some very slick conditions. Northbound side of the 15 accident before Bernardo Center has been cleared out of lanes. But up ahead, right before the 78, accident blocking the 3 left lanes. Looks like emergency crews are on scene. We've also got a collision on the Center City Parkway on-ramp to southbound 15 and stalled car partially blocking the Tamarack on-ramp to northbound 5. Viejas Casino and Resort is home to the best players club in My Viejas. Start earning points toward incredible rewards like free gifts, concert tickets, hotel stays, dining discounts, and more. It's time to ditch the other guys and join the best. My Viejas Players Club, Viejas Casino and Resort. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So for the second straight game, Brian Dutcher surprised me at the start of last night's San Diego State Air Force game. Remember, on Saturday against Utah State, he switched out 2 members of his starting lineup, which he almost never does in the middle of a season, but put Darion Trammell and Jay Powell into the starting lineup to replace Elijah Saunders and Micah Parrish, who came off the bench. Everybody was effective in that game, both the guys that entered the starting lineup, the guys that came off the bench. So I think there was kind of an assumption that they'd roll with that same lineup again last night at Air Force. So the broadcast comes on, and it was our old friend Jenny Kavnar, formerly of Padres Telecasts, who was doing the play-by-play last night on FS1, and she put the starting lineup graphic was on the screen, and she said, and Micah Parrish back in the starting lineup in place of Jay Powell, who goes back to the bench. And I thought, well, that's a little bit of a surprise. Woods even texted me at the moment, or Paul texted me. What's going on? I thought Jay Powell was back in the starting lineup.
But I bought his explanation, hook, line, and sinker. Listen to this, you guys. Hold on. Listen to this.
I said, I think, Dutch knows how valuable Jay Powell's energy is coming off the bench.
Oh, 100%.
Kind of that a Gweck Arope role from the Final Four team last year. And as well as it worked, felt like going forward, that was probably the best way for the Aztecs to be successful.
I bought in 100%.
I can see that. And Parrish had a good game off the bench, put him right back into the starting lineup. You don't damage his confidence. I get it. Turned out I was completely wrong. That was not the explanation, because after the game, Dutch explained to Mark Ziegler of the UT what actually happened. That Jay Powell was removed from the starting lineup because he did not make the team flight to Colorado Springs. The charter flight on Monday that the team took out of Lindbergh Field. Now, he was there. He didn't oversleep. He was there with the team. Even Fancy Ben doesn't know this. Apparently, even to get on a private charter plane, you need some government documentation and ID. And he had his student ID, but he didn't have the Social Security card, whatever his card was to back it up. And they didn't allow him on the plane, so they left without him.
And so man goes from a charter plane, waves him off, goodbye.
Bye, guys. I'll see you guys if I make it.
He has to go back to his dorm and get his card, and then he comes back and he's flying Southwest 38F or something.
They booked him for a commercial flight yesterday morning. So while the team was waking up at the hotel in Colorado Springs and going through their shoot-around and workout in the morning and going through their final game plan,
he's getting on a plane.
Jay Powell was getting on a commercial flight and getting to Colorado Springs all day. So because he missed all the last-minute prep, Dutch removed him from the starting lineup and put Micah Parrish, which makes perfect sense. He wasn't there.
Reminds me of a friend we used to go out with that would, I'd say 1 out of 4 times at least, would forget his ID at home. And when we were young, and it would, like now, if the 3 of us went to a bar, they would say, just come on in. That back then, it was like, bro, I got to see your ID. And you're like, thanks for ruining our entire night because you left your... Who leaves their ID at home?
Okay, so I tell you this story? I was once at a bar in Tempe. I was with Shelly. This was many, many years ago. I was probably like 6 at the time. I think it was before we were married. So I was young, but I had my California driver's license, and we walk into the bar, and I hand it to the bouncer, the guy checking IDs. It's one of these college bars around Arizona State. And he looks at it, and it's a bit worn. I've had it for a couple of years, and the corner of the lamination at the top was peeling a little bit, and he starts peeling it off. I'm going, dude,
that's
you're wrecking my ID. And he's going, this is fake, and is like, you can't come in. And I go, this is my real legal California ID, and he's gonna go, I'm taking this. I'm keeping it. I'm going. Yeah. I can't. This is my real ID. This is not.
Home, I gotta drive home.
Yeah,
whatever.
This is my ID. I can't replace it. I finally convinced him. Can you at least give it back to me? I won't go in.
I'll leave.
I will leave, but you need to give me my ID back because I promise this is my real ID. And finally, he gave it back to me. I was like, I'm out of here because I don't want to lose my actual California driver's license to an overzealous bouncer who just was like. I mean,
settle
how
down,
young do
Paul
I
Blart.
look?
All right, just relax.
I'm probably gonna go in and have my usual one drink and leave. I'm not the guy that you need to worry about at this college bar. I'm the last guy you need to worry about at this college bar.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I worked at Woodstock's Pizza by San Diego State when I was in college, and we sold beer there. And I would have to check IDs. I caught tons of fake IDs, and yeah, you are supposed to take it. If you catch a fake ID, for sure, the flashlight or whatever the test you're running,
right?
If it doesn't work, you are supposed to not give that back to them. And I remember at least 2 people trying to fight.
And
me.
I think this was before some of the more advanced technology that you could really check it and scan it. This was just judgment call time back in the Wild West.
Yeah. This will surprise you guys, but I also checked IDs at a few different locations, and I never took anyone's ID, and I let pretty much everybody in. So that won't surprise anybody. But I felt bad for Jay Powell.
I mean, picture me. I'm probably in a polo shirt.
Oh yeah,
walking in very, very sober, very
ready to have a cocktail.
It's not
a Manhattan.
It's not 11:30 p.m. It's probably 6 in the evening.
Yeah, wanting one Manhattan with sweet vermouth.
Hey, how you doing? Ben Higgins, Channel 10.
Yeah, Channel 10. Oh my God!
So Jay Powell didn't make the flight, didn't get in the starting lineup, but
so it was like a punishment tonight. Not that he was going to start anyway, but
he probably was going to start.
Just stay with the hot hand.
If he had been there, and no lineup change. But Micah Parrish took advantage, and the game started, and Air Force was up 8-6, and I'm going, is it going to be one of these nights? They hit 3 of their first 4 shots, couple of threes, and I go, you don't want to let this team get hot. And then San Diego State just kind of put the clamps on. They could not get a shot off, essentially, on offense for Air Force. The Aztecs started hitting their threes. I think they were 10 of 14 from three-point range at some point in the first half. Just red hot. One of the better offensive performances you've seen from the Aztecs against admittedly, a lower-tier type Mountain West team. And they were up 25 at the half, had 4 players in double figures. Micah Parrish helped that with some good shooting in the first half. And then in the second half, you didn't really miss much. Air Force did start to get hot a little bit, and San Diego State got a little sloppy. And with a 25-point lead, it wasn't their best performance, but ended up holding on for a 77-64 win. It was never close. That was the closest they got on a 3 at the buzzer. After it was pretty much 20-25 the entire second half. And then I think it was 25 with 4.5 minutes to go. And they went on a 14-2 run to close the game against some of the walk-ons and the bench warmers after you took out Jaden Ledee and Lamont Butler to make sure they didn't get hurt at the end of the game.
Well, the tropical night that they were having in Colorado Springs, I expected to they were really hyping up this game, as you said. Every team that plays the Aztecs does. It didn't work. The crowd was pretty quiet, but again, they're down 20 at half or whatever. You're going to take the small crowd out of it. But the tropical shirts did not bring the boys to the yard last night at all that they were giving away. That's one of the ugliest. That's one of the worst basketball teams to watch I've ever seen in my entire life.
Always is. It's. How long has their coach been there, Ben?
Joe Scott's been there for a while. I don't know exactly how many years, but they occasionally will run into a good team. Guys, that stay together for 4 years, because you don't have many transfers at the Air Force Academy. They get locked in after, I think, their sophomore year. If you're going to stay, you're going to stay.
Like, everybody around the country knows that San Diego State, their scoring can differ from year to year on how well they are able to get the ball in the basket, whether it's 60 points a game, 80 points a game, whatever. You always know with San Diego State, the defense will always be there. It will always be at an elite level. With Air Force, you know they're going to pass 18 different times every possession.
Paulie.
They're going to run the clock down to about 3 seconds and then just chuck up a three.
Yeah.
It's why San Diego State, the student section, the show, every time, at least every game that I had been to, when Air Force comes to town, the show would dress up in their pajamas. They'd bring pillows and sleeping bags because they just lull you to sleep.
I was pinning my eyes. I was like, Hannah had passed out, and I'm like holding my eyes open, trying to get to the half. And then I did, and I was like, I'm out.
I mean, they're not even getting good shots. They
No,
just run the clock
they are
down
good
and
three-point shoot. I think they ended up shooting 50% from
yeah.
three-point range, and they made more in the second half. But they just couldn't. They couldn't get an open shot. When they got an open shot, they hit it. But it was because maybe like someone on San Diego State slipped on defense, or they had missed one, and there was a really long rebound that came out to someone who was open. Those were the shots, and they made those. But when they have that 1/2 a second of space where a good shooter is going to rise up and hit the three right before the defender gets his hand up. They didn't try those. They were afraid to take those shots and have them blocked by the Aztecs, faster, stronger, taller defenders, and it led to a pretty ugly first half for Air Force. So Aztecs not only get the win, their second road win, first at altitude all season, but they also got some help last night because around the Mountain West, Nevada beat Utah State in Logan 77-63, and Colorado State beat Boise State 75-62. So there's now a 4-way tie for first place through 10 games. It's 7-3 between the Aztecs, the Utah State Aggies, Boise State, and New Mexico. The 25th ranked Lobos beat Wyoming 91-73. So there's 4 teams in first place, and then there's 3 teams that have 4 losses that are just 1 game behind. So you got 7 teams that are still absolutely in the thick of this race in the second half of the season. It's a pretty good it's a pretty exciting conference this year.
It is, and you're going to play one of those teams this weekend, Benny.
We're going to play nothing but those teams for the next 4 games. So on Friday, 5 o'clock on Friday, they go to Reno, and they will play Nevada. And this one, I'm going to say, not the must-win game because you're in first place and you've got time after it, but Nevada is a team you've already beaten once, and if you're going to steal one of these on the road against one of the better teams, feels like this is one that you can definitely get. So this is an opportunity game for the Aztecs to go in, sweep 2 road games in the week, at least remain in first place going into next week when you come home, but you're facing 2 teams that beat you already. You've got home games against Colorado State and New Mexico. You both lost 2 on the road, so you have to kind of hold serve. You don't want to get swept by anybody. So those games are next week. And then they go to Utah State, the team that's been in first place the whole season until they lost yesterday. So the next 4 games are all against top teams in the Mountain West. It's a bit of a run, probably the toughest conference stretch of the season for the Aztecs.
Love it. I think that's this is where you make your hay, Ben, and kind of decides, and you're just going to see these guys and beat up on each other, and then you get to the conference tournament, and man, it's going to be a great one. It's a really, really good conference this year.
And I like how San Diego State's playing right now, but the thing to remember is that the Mountain West tournament in Vegas is a format where the top 5 teams get byes to the quarterfinals. So 1 plays the winner of a play-in game, 2 and 3 do as well, and then 4 plays 5 in the quarterfinals. So of those 7 teams, obviously you're trying to get a 1 or a 2 seed, but you also don't want to be the 6 or the 7. You're going to have 2 good teams that are a 6 and a 7 that all of a sudden have to play 4 games in 4 days instead of 3 games in 3 days. And obviously, just for many reasons, you understand why that's a much harder road to win. Even if you clobber your first opponent, you've used energy, you've got just more chances to lose, so you want to make sure you stay at least in the top 5, hopefully, top 1 or 2 if you're San Diego State, but it's a wide open race right now in the Mountain West.
Love it.
Let's see. Anything else basketball Ben wanted to bring up today? I did have a couple of other basketball notes as long as we're on the subject. Joel Embiid had his surgery yesterday, and they said he's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks, which doesn't mean he's back in 4 weeks. Keep that in mind. Reevaluated means we'll see how he's doing, and then we'll decide.
What's his injury?
He had a meniscus, repaired left meniscus in his knee. He's obviously out of the MVP race. The question is whether he's going to be back at all this season, in time for the playoffs or something like that. If everything's going well, presumably in a month, they could start like a rehab and get him back on the court. If it's not going well, you wonder whether he's going to be back at all for the 76ers this season. So had one little NBA note from yesterday, and there you go.
All right, good. That's enough
basketball. Ben is
my
done.
God, holy cow,
for the
it's
morning.
Like 40 minutes of
There's a lot of basketball.
bloviating
Yeah.
here on Ben and Woods this morning. There was a big news yesterday in the world of baseball as far as contract extensions go. Did you see who got extended out is going to be an Astro for life?
Yeah.
Jose Altuve. And I thought, Jim Crane, the owner, had said he's never going anywhere. He's never going to play in another uniform. And he put his money where his mouth is yesterday, Benny, extending Jose Altuve to 5 years, $125 million. Dude can still play. I mean, he's a really, really excellent player. And, it's one of those, again, I've really softened in my old age. Like, I think that's a really wise move, and I don't think that's a guy you want to see in another uniform, much like the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw. It would have been weird to see him in a Rangers uniform ending his career. There's just certain guys, it makes sense. You want them in that uniform for the rest of their lives, and I think that's what Jim Crane, and I know Astros fans are really, really excited about that. I thought that was, he's got the money to spend for sure. I thought it was a pretty smart move.
We talked about it yesterday with the Bobby Witt Jr. extension, and we talked about Fernando Tatis and his extension, and Julio Rodriguez, and I said I really think it's good for the game because there was a time not too long ago where people were lamenting the days of like Cal Ripken, Tony Gwynn, you know what I mean? Like guys that were just Derek Jeter, guys that stayed with the same team their whole career. And you started to see guys just chasing the money, signing 2-year deals.
There's still going to be those guys.
And there still will, of course. But I do like that a lot of the superstars are signing these 10, 11, 14-year deals because it keeps them there for life.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point, Paulie. And this deal was, I would say it was very responsible of the Astros. It is not a backloaded deal. Yeah. It's a front-loaded deal.
Yeah, it's front-loaded.
So he'll make, I believe, like $35 million the first couple of years, but then it goes down 25, 20, and then 10 in the final year. So while the luxury tax number will remain an average of 25 per year, they're actually not going to be hamstrung. Like when he's older and, maybe in his swan song farewell season, he won't be eating up $38 million of payroll in a backloaded deal. Like, Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado and Yu Darvish may be doing for the Padres. He'll only be making $10 million. So when you kind of reduce his role and you're only trotting him out as a part-time player perhaps in 5 years and, doing that farewell tour, you can stomach that a little bit more because you're probably getting him at a pretty bargain basement salary because you were willing to front-load that deal. We'll pay more now when you're still closer to your prime. And then in the end, we'll pay a little bit less, which I thought was very responsible of the Astros, especially in a league where a lot of teams are going the other direction.
Correct.
And going, how little can we pay a guy now?
We'll pay the piper
later.
later.
The Piper later.
Yeah.
The Dodgers being the number one example of that right now.
Yep.
Deferring and backloading. Astros didn't do that. They went the other direction. They zagged when everyone else is zigging.
That's exactly right.
In Major League Baseball. All right, we've got a new streamer, and Woods wants me to Ben-splain as best I can what this means for the sports viewing landscape. The big announcement from ESPN, Fox, TNT yesterday. Get to that and take on Woods coming up next. Hour number 2 ahead on The Fan. Got baseball coming up. Tier 1 tour starts with the Miami Marlins. And their manager, Skip Schumaker, is going to be with us at 7:35 this morning. And baseball is one of the options you'll be getting on the new streaming service that was announced yesterday.
Is that right?
It is. In fact, you're pretty much getting everything on this new consolidated sports streamer. They'll have baseball, they'll have the NFL, they'll have NBA, college football, college basketball, NHL, PGA Tour, NCAA tournament. It sounds like a dream come true, doesn't it?
So this is forcing my hand as one of the people that still pays an exorbitant amount every month to Cox. I have Cox, and I do enjoy Cox, but it is expensive. There's no getting around that. Cox is very expensive.
If you want to get rid of it, this will help you get rid of your cable.
This will ease my pain a little bit, the burden.
If you're going to get rid of cable. If you're going to keep cable, I don't think you're going to need this new streamer.
It's superfluous.
That's the read that I've gotten so far, and they haven't come out with a ton of the details. It's supposed to debut in the fall. I'm sure that they're targeting the start of the NFL season because that's something that gets a lot of views and streams and attention. But it's going to be built from the ground up. It's a true joint venture. It's like 1/3 of the company will be owned by each of these three entities. So ESPN, which is Disney, Fox, and then Warner Discovery, which is TNT, TBS. They obviously have NBA and NCAA. But what you're going to get is what you are already getting on these channels. You're getting, the TNT games with, Ernie and Chuck and those big games. You'll get the ESPN Sunday night baseball games and their Wednesday night games and the ones that they have the rights for already. You'll get football games that are already going to be on like ESPN. You'll get Monday Night Football because it's already on ESPN, or you'll get Fox's Sunday games, but you won't get CBS's because they're not part of this.
So to be honest, if I'm a Padres fan, which I am living in San Diego, which I do, I would need to get this to see the big events that I want to watch because I love Sunday night baseball. It's like I have to see it every week, no matter who's playing. It's just part of the week. And then I still would probably need to subscribe to MLB TV as long as the blackout restrictions stay lifted.
The Padres are obviously in a unique situation.
Correct.
But no, they are. But so really any local team's coverage.
Sure.
If you're a fan of a local team, let's say you live in Kansas City and you want to watch Royals games, you're not going to get them on a streamer. You're going to need whatever they're streaming on, or your local channel, your local cable channel, or whatever their app is. Or if you're a Memphis Grizzlies fan, Memphis Grizzlies are never on TNT or ESPN, so you're still going to need whatever channel it is to watch your team.
This is a dream for anybody that wants to watch sports other than baseball, other than Sunday night baseball, essentially.
Right. And I think TBS has some games.
The one TBS game a week.
Yeah. ESPN has a midweek game or two. So there will be baseball on there. And maybe even your team might be blacked out in your local market, though, would be my guess. Even if they do have your team on one of these streamers. And I don't know that for sure, but that's the way these things usually work. The other big question is, what is it going to cost? Because there was no mention of a cost. And my expectation is, because they know that there's a lot of people who simply pay for cable or satellite now because of the sports content, that they'll be able to charge a fairly large amount. Because, hey, if you're paying, $70 a month for cable, or if you're Woods and you're paying $18,000 a month for cable.
$70? Where are we? Wichita?
Some people actually, you get the introductory deal and you follow it up and you change it after 1 year. You can manage it. It's just a pain in the rear end to do so.
So I've heard this shtick before. This is falling into it's easy to find a corner outfielder lore, right? Which is a fable. It's a fable. If it was easy to find a corner outfielder, we'd have one or two. So here's the bit.
We traded one.
Right. But you said, well, listen, you just got to call in. I've heard this bit before. Woodsy, call in, threaten to quit. You know what I do? You know what they do to me when I call in, threaten to quit? They go, all right. No.
No, you actually have to quit and then go somewhere else.
Right.
And
Go
get their
somewhere else. Get
deal.
their introductory.
And
take
you
the
have to go through
boxes
the
back.
Hey, take the box
Come
back
on.
to the UPS store and go through the entire process
I
if you
did
want
not.
to get the best deal every time.
No, I did not print my label at home.
Yeah.
Could you print it for me? Thank you.
It's a
Where?
slog.
And now take this where? Okay, I drop it here. Okay.
All right, so
sounds
pick a
good.
reasonable number. $140 a month.
$150, yeah.
If you know that there's a lot of people who are paying that to get their sports and are going to switch and cancel their cable, well, you're going to
You're
charge
going to charge $30 a month or
I got-
$40
yeah,
a month or something.
$39.99
Yeah,
a month.
$39.99.
Because you know people will justify it and go, well, I am saving now 120 or 130 on my cable, so yeah, I can pay that $40 a month for my sports streamer.
Well,
and
You're
Everyone
also
go to your
like-
phones. Open up your phones right now. Click on settings and go to your name at the top and then sign in. Click on subscriptions. Okay? All right. I'll do mine first.
I didn't even know that this existed.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I subscribe to actively right now. Apple One. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
subscribed.
This is horrible.
I'm subscribed through Verizon to Apple One. ESPN Live Sports, $10.99 a month. Fitbit Premium, $80 a year. Headspace, which I've never used. Hulu Plus, Max Stream, Peacock, Sirius, The Grint, the Vinyl app, Workouts for Men, and Zing Fitness Coach. I've subscribed to all of these currently.
So
And
this
some of
doesn't-
them don't even have prices next to
This
them.
doesn't have like my Hulu or Netflix.
Right,
or any
that
of
doesn't have my Netflix either.
I mean, I just have
Good
the only
God.
one on here is Apple TV, couple of
I'm doing pretty well,
work
actually, here.
stuff.
I mean, I don't
Apple
have
Care.
I don't have all my streamers like my on here, but I've got my Apple TV Plus,
Right.
$9.99. And Duolingo, which is Shelly, she's been trying to learn Spanish, which is $119.99 for the year.
Holy crap. Okay.
And that's all I've got right now.
That's it.
That's it. Everything else is well, there's no we get like Netflix and stuff, but it must be on her account.
Yeah, I don't know where my Spotify, I subscribe to Spotify.
Yeah,
I don't know
why
where
it's
that
not
is.
attached
Oh, maybe
to
it's
Apple.
through my PayPal, which is different, I think.
But back to the streaming giant that's coming out sometime this fall. It's no surprise. Like Major League Baseball's always been weird. The NFL, they want you to be able to watch just about every game you can get your hands on.
I get it. Yeah, you're right. You're
Baseball
right.
has always been
So,
weird,
but-
super localized, so that's going to be the issue.
But
But,
it-
at its face value, like this is what everybody wanted, right? You're like, I'm subscribed to Max and Netflix and Hulu and Showtime. Like, put it all together. Just put it into one service.
Give me
that's
the-
what we got now.
I've said it for years.
sports.
Give me, all right, I want one app.
It's called cable.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is if they said, here's one app, it's called Premiere, and you can watch anything you
I
want
do
on
think
it.
this
What would you
gets us
pay for?
I do think
$3.50
this
a month.
gets us closer to that.
Okay.
I think this takes us closer to a brave new world in which you can just get everything together. Because one of the things preventing that is the fact that there's different companies that own different rights and they all want to have their own apps. This is a time where 3 different companies are coming together to create one app.
What
So
are the
it's
companies again?
It's ESPN, which is, Disney. It's Fox, and it's Warner Discovery, which is like TNT, TBS, and all those. So if they prove that this can work, then you can see, well, if they can do it, then let's combine our HBO and our Hulu and our Netflix and everything into
calls
one
Paramount Plus and said, hey,
let's do one giant streamer all together and just put every bit of content in the world on it. And we'll charge $200 a month, but you'll get everything forever, and
Yeah, but then
people
you're
will
going to
love
have
it.
4 separate conglomerates. You need their app, and it's going to be $50
Well, that's the thing. This
a month.
is not. This is going to be the one app together. So maybe there is a way that we can just, in the future, just have one app that streams everything. Apple tries to do that. You can click on your Apple TV, and it'll show you like something from my Spectrum app, which is my cable. Like, oh yeah, you've been watching this on Spectrum, and you've been watching this on Hulu, and I can just click it, and it picks it up, and it goes then to that app that it opens. But it's like, well, at least it knows where I am and keeps my progress in the same spot.
And we talk about it as baseball fans, especially baseball. You talk about it every year as far as like, man, they just need to get rid of blackouts altogether. I think that's a fantastic idea. I wish they would, but why would you? Right? Like if that you have a deal with why would you? It's 162 games that you. it's not smart business to just make it free for everyone or get a pittance from a streaming service. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's too many games. There's
Well, then, so what happens is the major conglomerate, they all, HBO, Disney, like everybody comes together, makes one giant streaming service,
Right.
and then MLB strikes a deal with them like they did with the cable companies.
But again, they're still
And
not
you
going
have
to
to
lift
subscribe to that.
They're not going to lift blackouts on 162
That's an
local
MLB
games.
problem.
Yeah,
because-
cable companies showed that you can kind of do it because they get their $4.95 for their channel each month out of the what you're paying.
Every other league has it figured out. Like the NBA has the team pass or whatever, where even if you're in the local market, you can subscribe however much a month to just only get your team's games.
Jimmy goes, what are you going to call this app where all these channels are in one spot? Direct TV. Yeah, I mean, it's right. I guess if I'm paying for cable, I don't need this new fancy
They'll create
app.
a new app. It'll come directly to your TV. They'll even give you a device.
A box.
A box and a
a
device that
remote.
can change the
The channel.
channels between the different
Fantastic.
streams all the way through. In fact, might as well just put numbers on each of the streams.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Instead of the ESPN app, we'll just call it like
Channel 29.
Channel 29.
Yeah, perfect. It's brilliant. Did we just invent cable here on the program this morning?
All right, we need a contestant for Take on Woods. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973.
I
think we figured it out.
I think we
You
got
know how
something
on
here.
apps you can hit pause? We can maybe have like a pause feature on the remote as
good.
well, where we can come back or skip
Rewind,
through.
maybe.
We can even record games on this
Phenomenal.
new
Go back and watch them at your
this
leisure.
new boxed app that we have on our television
Really cool.
and watch them
it's,
back
it's
later.
like TV, but it's not. Maybe we call it TiVo.
Yeah, TiVo. Exactly. I love
Guys, we are really onto something here.
Marketing geniuses.
Yeah, that's cable. That's
in
what
the
we're talking
studio
about
this
here.
morning.
Yep. Just talking about cable.
All right, let's play today's game. It's time for Take on Woods. Maybe you'll be able to play Take on Woods on this new app that we've created. We got a lot of callers calling in. I see Steve. He likes to get in early in the month. Let's give him a chance to lock in his spot in Vegas for the grand prize drawing. Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Woods should be shaking in his boots out there knowing he's taking on Steve. Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes and you don't have to get out of your car for directions and discounts. Go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Remind everyone the prize this month is the 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino and 2 tickets to Air Supply May 31st and June 1st at the International Theater. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. You know the rules. I'm going to just move right into it. Here are your categories today, Steve. We've got Don't Call Me Edward, Musical Eddies, Add a Zero, in which you will add 1 0 to each answer to get the correct answer. And our new category, Hook, Line, and Sinker, the word hook in each of the answers for that one. So what would you like to play? Don't Call Me Edward, Add a Zero, or Hook, Line, and Sinker?
Wow. Let's try Don't Call Me Edward.
Don't Call Me Edward. I think you're going to do well on this one. We've got musical eddies in each answer. You know how it works. Let's just put 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul Are you ready, Paulie? I went so fast. I've never gone so fast for him. I'm just trying to keep it moving for Steve.
All right, we're good.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Steve. Let's take on Woods.
2 tickets to Paradise Eddie Money.
Correct. Born in Amsterdam, which rocker moved to as a child to Pasadena, where he formed one of the most iconic bands of all time with his drummer brother Alex?
Eddie Van Halen.
Correct. Which grunge music and vocal legend supported himself in high school by working nights at the Long's drugstore in Encinitas?
Eddie Vedder.
Correct. Rick James produced and wrote the song Party All the Time for which comedian making his musical debut in 1985?
Eddie Murphy.
Correct. Which country singer-songwriter is best known for 70s hits including I Love a Rainy Night and Driving My Life Away?
Eddie Rabbit.
I knew you'd get 5 out of 5 on that category. Steve, you made it way, way too easy sounding. You are in for Las Vegas. As easy as that. Paulie will get
That
your
was about
information
as
during
easy
the
as your
break. Yeah, and I
categories
think
get.
Woods is going to take care of this one. This is one of the simpler categories I've done in a while. We'll see. Steve's score is locked in. Steve, one of the Hall of Famers of Take on Woods.
All right. It's a good day to take me down. I am not up to snuff today.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like ass.
Just you can do this.
All right.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Steve.
2 tickets to paradise, Eddie Money.
Correct. Born in Amsterdam, which rocker moved as a child to Pasadena, where he formed one of the most iconic bands of all time with his drummer brother, Alex.
Eddie Van Halen.
Correct. Which grunge music and vocal legend supported himself in high school by working nights at the Long's drugstore in Encinitas?
That is Edward Vedder.
Correct. Rick James produced and wrote the song Party All the Time, for which comedian making his musical debut in 1985?
That is Edward Murphy.
Correct. Which country singer-songwriter is best known for 70s hits, including I Love a Rainy Night?
That's Edward Rabbit.
And Driving My Life
Have you
Away.
figured out the category?
Eddie?
Yeah, musical Eddies. It was Don't Call Me Edward, and you both got a 5 for 5. Not one of the tougher categories I've come up with, but well done, both of you.
I think I love 2 Tickets to Paradise so much. So much. It's such a good song.
It's a good song.
It's not feasible, though. Like, imagine going home to my wife and go, hey, I got 2 tickets to Paradise. She'd be like, we have no sitters for the kids. You didn't run this by me. I don't really want to go there.
When are we leaving?
When are we leaving?
And then you get there and you realize you forgot your ID and they won't let you on the plane.
This is too much for me. Just try it today, guys. Go buy 2 tickets to Paradise today and go home to your wife and say, guess what? We're leaving right away. Pack your stuff.
Steve, well done today. A crisply played game by both of you of Take on Woods.
Yeah, very crisp.
Don't Do This is coming up next. There's so much that goes around the Super Bowl, the marketing opportunities. I've got a couple of stories coming out of Las Vegas this week that I want to get to in our next segment.
Yeah, there's been some really, really bad questions asked at the Super Bowl. We can highlight highlight that as well.
All right, that's coming up next with Bennett Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. First unofficial don't do this goes to yours truly for forgetting to read the sponsor the last couple of days. I actually got shamed by Adam Klug in our post-show meeting yesterday.
Which is very
The disappointment in his eyes. Was there anything we can do to help you?
Hey, Ben.
Other
Is there
than
any particular reason why you choose not
other
to
than
read?
bolding it and highlighting as Paulie does right here. And I go, no, I just need to get into a rhythm.
Like a shock collar.
This is the day. Don't Do This is brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sereno Valley. The Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Do that and take a look at their happy hour specials today. Thecrafttaco.com.
Yeah.
That's one. Let's see if I can remember again tomorrow. All right, this is all Super Bowl related in Las Vegas for Don't and Do This. I will start, I'm Colonel Budget. So, you can watch the Super Bowl at home for free. It's a pretty good experience, actually.
It's a great experience.
You get all the commercials, you get everything. I don't know that I want to go to the game to begin with. The ticket prices are pretty insane already. Thousands of dollars a seat. But if you really wanted to be there, fine. I get it. What I don't get, though, is someone paying $2.5 million to attend one football game. For, 4 hours you're there? For $2.5 million. But that's what the top suite at Allegiant Stadium is going for this week. Now, it is fully stocked with food.
It better be stocked with never mind.
Can you imagine? Yeah, it's $2.5 million, and then would you like to buy some food to go with
package?
That's going to be
and the peanut package?
No, it is included, and it's upgraded. Let's just say that.
It better be the best food of all time.
It will have a surf and turf buffet with Wagyu beef and lobster and carne asada fries, seafood stuffed potatoes, bacon wrapped hot dogs, cheesecakes, and your classic souvenir popcorn. They will have a full service bar complete with bartenders ready to make, I would hope, all the top shelf stuff.
Not making my own slow gin fizz in there at the Super Bowl.
It's just a box of Cutwater.
So, and I mean, the location looks pretty prime, like right around the 50-yard line, right in the middle. Big giant TVs in there. It's a nice suite at Allegiant Stadium. I just think $2.5 million is a bit extravagant to go to a football game and enjoy some buffet items at said football game.
I mean, I think the point of it is that we all need wealthier friends, because I would tag along to that.
Yes. I'll go.
Oh my God. Yeah, my buddy got the suite at the Super Bowl. Yeah, the 2.5.
I mean, I don't know how many. It doesn't say how many people. You figure when those suites usually 20.
So does one
20
mega rich person buy it?
And then everyone kicks in. Hey, can you guys all Venmo me $300,000?
So $120,000 a pop?
Did you just do the math?
No, I just guessed. That.
Yeah, $125,000 each if you split it 20 ways.
So that's what I'm asking. Does one guy just cover it all because he's that rich?
Can you find 20 people who can all fork over $125,000 for the game? I think that'd be harder than just paying the 2.5 yourself.
I would really like to experience that suite. I think that would be really, really fun. The Super Bowl is the media day. We talked about it yesterday. It gets a little bit ridiculous, and when you throw in the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift circus into that as well, you're going to get questions, and you're going to get weird questions. I don't know that you're going to get a weirder question than the one that they.
Now, this wasn't media day. This was just the coach doing his podium that they do every day during the week. They have the media day where they're all on the floor. It's a big ballroom or something.
That's probably a little more loose, right? The media
Joe
day.
Schmo with the media, like a podcaster, like Barstool, like anybody. This was the actual
the coach press conference.
Coach press conference.
Listen to this question asked of Andy Reid.
They used to have Courage the Cowardly Dog would come and ask questions on media day.
Listen to the question asked of Andy Reid by a German reporter.
Coach, right here.
Yep. Gotcha.
Question from Germany.
Yes.
As you said before, times have changed a lot. The internet, mobile phones. What do you say about the conspiracies that have popped up concerning Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, like some kind of Republican conspiracies that you guys made it into the Super Bowl to actually secretly re-elect or help re-elect President Biden?
That's way out of my league. Very similar to me speaking German. Listen, we appreciate. I appreciate the question. She's been great, and We had a nice visit with President Biden. That's about as far as I can go last year. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I don't think you did anything to tamp down those rumors.
That's true.
I mean, it's pretty much, I just follow the script they give me.
That's what you're gonna get. You get your hand raised, and they call, and you got Andy Reid right in front of you at the Super Bowl, and that's what you're gonna ask. It's very weird, man. I do feel a bit of sympathy for having to go up there and answer questions.
I will say there's only one question that we played on the air today.
That's true.
That's the one.
That's the one. So mission accomplished.
And
German reporter.
Which brings us to do this. And
DD mega doo-doo.
if I'm going to complain about people who are spending $2.5 million, then I'm going to praise someone who's getting something for free at Super Bowl week. And everybody's looking to find a way to make some noise in Las Vegas. And one little white wedding chapel on the Strip has made the most noise with a brilliant promotion, costing them probably nothing at all, but they have offered Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift an absolutely free wedding if they'd like to get hitched while they're in Vegas for the Super Bowl. They have offered a confetti cannon, the whole 9 yards, if they want to come, and they've gotten plenty of attention for this offer that clearly no one is going to take them up on.
But we'd also like to offer a slot for Taylor Swift and Travis
Yeah,
Kelce.
we're not going to get promotion for it, and they've gotten a ton of attention for this. That's brilliant marketing
That's
right
smart.
there.
Yeah,
That's
getting
smart.
something for nothing.
In fact, they said the offer is actually extended to all players on both teams and coaches. So if anyone on either the Chiefs or the 49ers wants to get married
on the house,
like, you know, you've seen the proposals on the field post-game, like players who get down on their knee after they win.
Of course.
If they want to just go ahead right after the game and consummate, they now have that opportunity to do so through no cost of their own at the little white wedding chapel that has gotten a ton of free publicity out of it, and that is genius marketing.
Smart
right there.
move, man. Smart move. We have a place you can buy our Ben & Woods T-shirts, but you have to pay for those. It's
not Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift. If they want a Ben & Woods shirt, we will hook them up.
It's on the house. On the house.
Look at that
publicity. To have them wear it. The guy that's coming on next, he wears a Ben & Woods shirt.
He does.
He did it in a press conference last year and in a marketing video the Marlins did. And God, he looked good. The shirts were made for him.
Our Tier 1 tour begins with the Miami Marlins and their manager, Skip Schumaker. Coming up next with Ben & Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Well, if we're going to do our Tier 1 tour, we're going to start it off with a bang. And we will count down 29 days, 29 shows remaining until the Padres opener. So each day we will focus on a different team. And we will start with the Miami Marlins. And we will start with their manager, Skip Schumaker, right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, if our roads are any indication, it looks like a lot of folks decided to work from home today, or they're just being extra careful. Except this person, southbound 125 Otay Mesa, got this vehicle that spun out. That's now in the center divide. Tow truck is rolling up to assist with that. Also, northbound side of the 15 near Bernardo Center. Tow truck needed to clear this accident involving a couple vehicles. They are over to the right shoulder. Yes, continue to just take it extra carefully out there, guys. Have your headlights on so other drivers can see you and just keep your speeds down. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, that Tier 1 tour bus is purring like a kitten at the start
man.
of the tour.
Yeah.
And joining us right now as we begin in the NL East with the Miami Marlins, playoff team from 1 year ago. We go straight to the source. Our good friend, the manager of the Marlins, Skip Schumaker, is back with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Before we look ahead at the season, Skip, first of all, how are you doing? How is the offseason treating you?
Hey guys, yeah, no, I'm great. Just catching up on family time. My son made the varsity team for
Nice.
Santa Margarita High School, so he'll be starting there next weekend. So I'll get a varsity game in before I head out, and then my daughter's 8th grade and doing the travel soccer. So things are good.
That's awesome, man. And we haven't talked to you on the air since August. We've texted a little bit, but obviously congrats on the Manager of the Year award. Picked that up, what was that, last week when you went? I saw you guys all dapper and going to make your speech and all that. And just wanted to wish you congratulations on that. And now you have to go out and do it again. That's the fun part.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. It's an organization award, staff award. I guess I was driving the bus, but had a lot of good staff members around me to help me out and cover my blind spots, which I needed, especially being a rookie manager. And hopefully we can get back to the playoffs this year.
What do you think for you? You talk about blind spots, and it's something that all sports radio hosts and all fans of a team, we're very quick to point out managers' blind spots. But it's rare to get a manager on the phone to say, yeah, this is what maybe I struggle with. For you, looking back on the season, what did you think maybe was like, all right, yeah, I'm glad so-and-so was there to pick me up?
Well, I was really happy that Rod Barajas and Luis Ureta, my bench coach, were there with me. I needed a strong Latin influence that I could trust next to me. I don't know Spanish. We had a lot of Latin guys on our team, and I needed my message to be hit home with a lot of these players and not someone else push their own agenda. And when you have alignment like that with Spanish, American, whoever's coming in, I think that's the best way to go about things.
That's awesome.
I'm paying for a Duolingo subscription if you want to just jump on my account and start
They'll
learning.
send you the password, yeah,
to jump in there.
Fresh 120 a year for that.
Speaking of Manager of the Year, I just wanted to ask, the Padres hired the 2019 Manager of the Year in the National League from the St. Louis Cardinals. Mike Schilt is their new manager now. He was in the organization when you were there as a minor league skipper, but how well did you know Schilty, and just any thoughts you've got on the new skipper for the Padres?
Yeah, I did a couple rehab assignments, unfortunately, in Double-A when Schilt was the manager there. Mike is super disciplined. He knows the game really extremely well. Is going to hit home with the fundamentals every single day. I don't think he misses anything as far as, on-game situations. Nothing's going to, speed up on him. I think guys are going to really like him. And I don't think I think they got it right as far as the hire. And I'm hoping, he does really well in that clubhouse and in that city because, I love San Diego and they deserve a championship. I just hope it's not this year. I hope it's the Marlins going at it, but Schilty's awesome.
Well, and we're talking to Skip Schumaker here, manager of the Miami Marlins on Ben & Woods, and it's funny because that's the job of the manager is to take the team that he was given and go out and get the best he can from them, and that's exactly what you did last year. But, by all accounts, I mean, we've lost a lot of players here. Looks like, Jorge Soler, who was a big force for you guys. So now you got to find a way to replace him. Now you got to find a way to get the most out of it. And I know there's some guys that you acquired at the deadline that are going to be there. What are you, I don't want to say most nervous about, but what are you looking at going, all right, this is where we really need to focus on for the Miami Marlins?
Yeah, I think it's always dangerous in my seat to look outside the organization and try to think of different players you can bring in to make your team better, because then you're not focusing on how you're getting your own guys better. My focus right now and our staff's focus right now is to figure out how to get our guys better and to have them get career years under their belt this year, whether it's Nick Fortes, taking the next step. It's, Yuri Perez, Trevor Rogers. What is Tanner Scott going to have another repeat year? And then, Soler was a big leader in that clubhouse. Same with Gurriel. Who's going to provide that veteran leadership? And hoping it's Josh Bell. He was great for us when he was acquired last year. But I think the biggest hurdle for me, because the players control that clubhouse. And they're we try to figure out what the pulse of that clubhouse is. And if we don't have veteran leadership in there, then you're, kind of guessing on what's going on in there. And I'm hoping Josh, and I think he is going to, lead our guys again.
Skip, one thing the Marlins do have, even with Sandy Alcantara out for the season after Tommy John surgery, is some pitching depth. And I'd imagine that you're looking at that as one of the strengths of your team going into the 2024 season. I mean, it's not like you didn't have Sandy necessarily healthy last year either. Now he's going to be out. How does that kind of inform your pitching kind of decisions going into this year?
Yeah, Sandy didn't have the year that he's used to having last year. However, I will say that he provided innings. You could sign up for 6 or 7 innings every single outing, which helped the next day. Our bullpen usage, the next starter didn't feel like he had to provide 7 innings because Sandy only went 2. Sandy was posting. Last year, I was really excited to see Trevor Rogers. He gave us a little over 25 innings last year. So he was an all-star the year before. So I want to see what Trevor looks like. He's fired up, a lot of motivation to come back and prove people wrong, which is always dangerous, a good thing and a dangerous thing for other teams when you have an all-star pitcher who missed the majority of the year last year to come back and ready to go. So we do have pitching depth. I'm excited about it. We were not great offensively as far as the rankings are concerned. So, trying to figure out how we can score more runs and be better on the base pass is the goal.
And we're talking to Skip Schumaker here on Ben and Woods this morning. I love Jake Berger. I loved him when he was in Chicago. He came over to Miami last year, provided a spark for you guys. He's kind of old school, got that kind of old school look to him. Like guys I grew up watching in the 80s. I'm like, he would have fit in great with the White Sox of the 80s. What has he brought to your team, and do you expect big things from him this year?
I do. Middle of the order bat, we got at the deadline, and anybody who has a mustache is dangerous.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 100%.
The confidence with someone who has a mustache, I'm all in on. And he pulls it off. So, middle of the order bat with the stash, sign me up. But he's a young power hitter in the game that is just becoming a really good hitter. It's not just power. He's using the whole field. He's understanding game plans. And when we acquired him, he really took off and became a complete hitter. So, excited to see what he's going to provide, playing every single day this year.
All right, and I got to ask you about your assistant GM who has discovered TikTok and put out a new one yesterday. Now, how many dietary and nutritional plans, maybe workout plans, has he texted you the offseason? Of course, I'm talking about Gabe Kapler. He fascinates me to no end. I've poked around on his website before. It's the ramblings of I don't want to say a crazy person, but he's got some ideas about bullpen management that I read one time, and I went, I mean, maybe it's genius, maybe it's crazy. What an interesting cat he is. And what are you guys just going to be push-up contests at spring training? Like, this is going to be insane, both of you guys on the same field.
Well, the one thing I have in common with Gabe is we both believe that comfort is death. So if you just go about it the same way all the time, then you're not going to grow. And yeah, there might be some crazy ideas, but why not throw them out there and see if they work? And if they don't, they're crazy, that's okay. But why not just try it and see what happens, especially in the minor leagues, and trying to develop guys and seeing, what different things work. Because, 5-10 years ago, we didn't have Rapsodo, and TrackMan was just kind of coming along, and, certain hitting techniques and technology. So that was crazy 10-15 years ago. Now it's like a standard.
Yeah.
So I think, him just thinking outside the box, just, you kind of question yourself and how you do things. And I think he provides that. And Gabe's a good guy. I mean, he is. There's some stuff I get it on TikTok and stuff that'll make you laugh.
It's so good.
Yeah. But you get him, in a room full of guys and just talk about different scenarios and situations. The guy's smart, and he challenges you, and I love that.
Speaking of crazy ideas, I've got one that I've been thinking about for a while that I think you'd actually like, but I've never understood. So you're the Miami Marlins, and you spend all summer in Florida. The Arizona Diamondbacks, they spend all summer in Phoenix. Why not flip it, and you trade, and you do spring training in Arizona, and they do spring training in Florida just to mix it up, and you guys get to come out to Scottsdale for the next 6 weeks.
He's our own Gabe Kapler here. Ben is our
I think
Gabe
that
Kapler.
makes a lot of sense. Would you be on board with the old spring training swap with the Diamondbacks?
Well, I do love Arizona spring training. I will say that.
Everyone loves Arizona spring training. You don't have to be political here. Everyone I've ever talked to in baseball always says Arizona spring training is better than Florida spring
Far
training.
superior.
It really is. I spent a lot of years, obviously, in St. Louis and doing the whole West Palm Beach. And West Palm Beach, by the way, is not bad either. But
no, it's not anything bad about the locales, but it's the travel and everything that they say is so much better in Arizona.
You're exactly right. It's the travel. The travel is second to none. And you get, a lot of the ballparks in Arizona have been redone as well, which Florida is just starting to do and accomplish, but it's not done. Where there's some beautiful ballparks in Arizona and a lot of fun to play at.
Yeah, he's our own.
But
Gabe
I'm not
Kapler.
switching.
Yeah, he's not switching. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's just well,
bad idea.
Like one of Kapler's ideas that I was like, maybe he's genius. I came in, I told Ben about it the next day. So let's say you call on a reliever and he throws his limit and he's not going to pitch the next day. Like, let the guy stay home. And I go, Like, he gets to stay home, refresh, be with his family. He doesn't need to be at the ballpark. He's not going to throw. There's no circumstance in which he's going to throw. Let the guy stay home. And I went, he's crazy. And then I said, or maybe he's genius. I can't tell. But, like, this was an idea he posted on his website. Now, he didn't do it with the Giants, obviously. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? If I throw
other players would be jealous,
would they
right?
They'd be jealous, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, ideas like that. I don't have to agree with every one of them. So that would not be one that I would agree with. I just believe in team and chemistry, and if someone is seeing something, and I just believe in leadership and what a team really means. And I think you see it in a lot of showcase baseball now, guys flying in and flying out on the weekend. I don't think that shows any sort of teamwork or team chemistry or what a team's all about. So again, there's some great things, and then I don't think that one for me, my team would work.
I've got one more baseball question before you go, Skip. What's the ceiling for Jazz Chisholm? I mean, he's obviously been really, really good so far, but how good do you think he can really be if things totally come together for him?
If Jazz plays every single day and he's got to post and stay healthy, I don't want to put a number on it, but it's a 30-30 year. I mean, there's no doubt it's a 30-30 year, and he was trending in the right direction of winning, or not winning, but like going into the top tier of a Gold Glove type of center fielder. The guy's got a cannon for an arm. He can outrun the baseball. There's very few guys that can just outrun the ball when they're stealing. Bad jump and then they're still safe. Jazz is one of them. He's starting to understand game plans, and he's starting to understand what a winning player looks like. It's tough as a young player sometimes to come up and understand that. You're trying to survive. You're trying to, build your own brand, or, become, an everyday guy, whatever it means. And I think, once you're understanding what a winning player looks like, and that's all you care about that day is to help your team win, everything else it's gravy. And once you get a little taste of that postseason as well, then you know, like, I got to get back there. And that's really where you make your name, right, is in the postseason. So this kid plays 140, 150 games. Man, the Marlins are in a good spot.
Skip, really appreciate it. Enjoy the next couple of months in Jupiter. Remember, I offered you Scottsdale. You declined.
Yeah, you said no.
Have a good spring training. We'll talk to you again, when the season gets started.
All right. You guys are the best. Thank you very much.
There he is.
Buddy.
Skip Schumaker, always the best. Getting our Tier 1 tour started with the Miami Marlins, who have, they haven't made a lot of moves this year, but they're coming off a playoff appearance. They've got the manager of the year, reigning manager of the year. It's hard to win back-to-back manager of the years because usually expectations go way up. Skip, once again, the expectations are kind of tamped down because of the offseason they've had. So if they have another surprise good year, who knows? Back-to-back manager of the year awards are in the cards maybe for Skip Schumaker.
I mean, the division, is not any easier. I mean, they were going into the division last year, and the Mets had spent all that money, and those guys were gone. The big guys that they signed were gone by halfway through the season. So, but, you still got the Braves in that division. You got the Phillies in that division. But, yeah, we're obviously pulling for him.
I feel like Jazz might be the best nickname right now in baseball.
I think, is that his name? Or is that
Jazrado Hermes Arrington Chisholm Jr.
Great nickname.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Jazrado.
That's really good. Why would you switch spring trainings? Just because it's better?
Well, I was offering to get him closer to us.
Yeah, that's true.
And we could
his
see
family.
and we could see him when we go out there
Yeah.
maybe and have a dinner with him, and he could be closer to his family. And I know the travel is always better. But don't you? I always wondered, like, you're there all year long. Isn't part of spring getting away a little bit? Like, you get away from where you normally
It's so
train
far,
to
though.
go somewhere else.
But they're in Florida. Like, don't you want to be in the place?
And Arizona
where,
is in Arizona. They don't
Right.
go anywhere for spring training.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to be a non-starter. I just thought I just kind of pondered that for a while.
There
and
are
I thought
no
I'd
bad
bring it up.
ideas in brainstorming.
That's what
unless they're yours. But yeah,
Right.
mostly there's no bad ideas in
I
brainstorming.
think he laughed at you.
He did. He laughed.
So pull that graphic up again for our Tier 1 tour, because I would like to know where we are headed tomorrow. Oh, the Philadelphia Phillies will continue in the NL East tomorrow and take a look at the Phillies.
Maybe we need to text
This
Matt
season.
Strom.
Ooh, maybe Matt Strom, maybe Devin Caney, maybe John Marks. We got a lot of friends.
I will
Yeah.
take
We're just
any-
going to do three
any and
Phillies
all of the
guests
above.
tomorrow.
Fine by me.
Tomorrow on our Tier 1 tour. All right, we'll come back. We've got 2 hours left of the program. I want to get into the Padres win projections for 2024 and more. All coming up here on 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. And that's Benjamin Higgins here. We're with you every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 10. Thanks so much for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you. If you're listening on the radio, we appreciate you. Listening on your smart speaker, the Odyssey app, all of the above. So thank you so much for being here. Couldn't do it without you. We just talked to Skip Schumaker, manager of the Marlins. We'll make our picks after we go through the division on where everyone is going to, where we think everyone's going to fall. We can recheck it at the end of the year. But I went to caplifestyle.com, Ben, and I pulled up the article I referenced to Skip Schumaker. And I want to read this to you guys. And I'm telling you, when I read it, I went, you're crazy, but you're also maybe a genius. Listen to this. Suppose we have a day game following tonight's game. We got a reliever opening in front of the starter tonight. If I say to that reliever, hey, we got an early start tomorrow. You're done after the first inning. Go spend the evening with your family. Get a good night's sleep. We'll see you tomorrow so you'll be better rested to give us a few hitters then. I'll inevitably be met with, I can't do that. I have to stay for the game to support my teammates, or similar. The translation of that, of course, is my teammates will question my commitment. Silly? Yeah. But he'd be correct. I've seen it play out way too many times. This is genius right here. Culturally, in baseball, we prioritize performative acts too much over what will actually help us win. We'd rather have our players out there throwing together before the game or staying in the dugout rather than going home, getting a few extra hours of sleep. If I'm your teammate, I don't need you to be here tonight wishing you were home. I need you to pitch well tomorrow. This is a cultural shift that needs to happen. It can only happen when we start to understand what being a good teammate actually is. Now, this is weird. That's not just a sports thing. I think that's a life thing. I think, I mean, I look at a good teammate as that someone is there, right? And that's just kind of ingrained in me. If I'm not feeling great today, but if I stay home and sleep and I'm better rested and prepared for tomorrow's show, that doesn't help you guys. Doesn't help you guys at all. I need to be here.
But if you weren't feeling great and you weren't going to be a part of today's show whatsoever, you were just going to be sitting back there.
That's worthless.
I'd rather have you home rested up for tomorrow.
And tomorrow and Friday.
We do need you.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Like, I absolutely get what Skip was saying in response to that.
Me too.
We just had him on. He's like, look, that's not for me. Like, I want guys there. It builds team camaraderie and all that. But, I mean, if we got a week-long homestand and Darvish pitches on a Monday night, he's not doing anything on Tuesday.
He's running, and, like, there's no reason in today's day and age that you, Darvish, can't wake up on Tuesday morning and run at home on a treadmill or lift or plyo ball or stretch or whatever. But if you, Darvish, didn't show up on Tuesday, what does that say to Michael King and Johnny Burrito? They're like, oh, it's just, he's right. It's a cultural thing. And I think baseball, well, I can't even say baseball does it more than anybody, but it's prevalent in baseball. Performative acts over what will actually help us win. Now, it could blow back in your face, right? It could absolutely blow back in your face. But it's almost like this is the way it's always been. You need to be there.
I think this is pretty fascinating, actually.
It really is.
For a couple of reasons. I don't know that there are a ton of real-world comparisons. I was trying to, like Paul was trying to come up with that example. I mean, if you're sick and you're not going to be on the show, just be at home. But
yeah, go home.
That's different. The one example I could give is, so on TV, my job, like on election night, I always come in, it's a Tuesday, and I get ready to have a sports cast. But most of the time, I just get bumped because they're doing live election coverage. And I could have just stayed home that night, but I'm there doing my job because I feel like I have to be there. Should I have just taken the day off? I don't know. I don't know that there's a job. If you're a surgeon, but you don't have a surgery scheduled that day, do you have to go in for like office hours and be there or not? I don't know exactly how it works in other professions, but we all know kind of how baseball works. And I would say that the issues that you would run into is certainly you couldn't offer this same perk to and it would be a perk, I think, for a lot of players to know, hey, if I pitch two plus innings the night before, I get the day off the next day. I get to stay home. I don't have to come in. You couldn't offer that to any of the position players.
No.
They have to be on standby because of how the game is going.
Correct. Darvish pitches Monday. He does not need to be on standby for Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. He doesn't. There's in no circumstance. There's no circumstance where you're going to a starting pitcher on 2 to 3 days after. Technically, he really doesn't even need to be there until his next start, but you can't do that. You can't do that.
But the next day, like the immediate next game, it's like, hey, man, get your body right.
Because I'll tell you this.
I can see the idea there.
What do we bitch about the most as morning show hosts, beside the getting up early? It's wait. They're doing a holiday. They're letting everyone off at noon. Does that mean we get to walk at 8? No, we're here for the full 4-hour show, right? Or hey, the sales team's working from home Monday through Friday. I mean, you do have
we
to
got
have
about a week collected over the last couple of years
Yeah.
from all of the, hey, we're closing the office
Closing the office early.
for-
Why don't you close it at 7? And then we'll leave, right? But you can't. It just doesn't work that way.
But you would say that a lot of people would argue that the point of a team is to get everybody
together,
pulling on the same rope,
Correct.
on the same page.
Correct.
And
you're not wrong
when
either.
When you treat different players differently, that can create more division and jealousy.
Do you think
trouble in a clubhouse sometimes?
Now, you're pretty naive if you think, not you, but you're pretty naive if you think that players aren't treated differently in the clubhouse, whether they're there or not. There are guys that Mike Schilt can walk up to and say, hey, what are you doing? What are you on your phone? You need to be taking grounders. There are guys that he can't say that to. That's the way that it is. That's just the way that it is. Should everyone be treated equally in a clubhouse? I don't know. I don't think so. I
think that would cause bigger issues.
I think that would cause bigger issues. Like, yeah, you need to go ahead and get your laps in. Like, who are you talking to, dude? I know I've been playing this game for 10 years. I put 158 games a year.
There's an argument to be said, like, if you're giving Manny Machado the day off from the lineup, give him the day off. Let him be at home, not be there and have an actual day off. So many days off, because guys do get days off, but they're always there. You know, they may, hey, you don't get here 6 hours before the game, just get here a couple of hours before the game. But it's not really an off day when you still have to go in and you still have to get in uniform and you have to be there the whole time and sit in the dugout for the entire game. It's not an off day.
Well, there's differences between, hey, you're not starting, but you're available off the bench, or you're down, like you're not playing today.
Yeah. Oh, Sean says they're getting treatment most likely. Yeah, absolutely they are. They're getting treatment, but he makes the case in it as the opener. Hey man, come out you're going to open on Tuesday. So on Monday, we know you're opening. We're not going to use you tonight because you're opening the game for us. Monday, you come, you get you throwing in, and after the first inning, just go ahead and bounce. Get a good night's sleep. Go be with your family, your kids. Then we'll see you tomorrow, ready to go and fresh. I mean, it sounds.
Now, we've seen the Padres last season.
You let guys stay.
Like they didn't take Joe Musgrove to Colorado to keep him fresh and not have to put him through the altitude when he was going to start the next day, or sent guys maybe home a day early if they were going to start, so they didn't have to wait around for a team flight. They do that sometimes, and I think that's part of it. I mean, that's kind of a day off when you don't have to do that. So there is some of that goes on in Major League Baseball.
L3 Oogie says, I'd rather have coworkers miserable at work with me. Yeah, I think we all do, and I think that is the the crux of it all. Janine makes a good point. The extra eyes of a pitcher not pitching can maybe observe mechanical issues, teammates, even learn new things while observing. Absolutely. It's also what Skip said. You just want to make sure everyone's there. If something happens, right? You get in a brawl or something, like everybody there.
I'll never know until somebody actually tries this. Some team tries it.
I know.
But if it were to work, as Gabe Kapler suggests,
thinks that it will,
and it maximizes performance, and a team dominates, that's ultimately the biggest bonding.
Surprises me.
Team bonding.
It surprises me that Kevin Cash hasn't done it already, to be honest with you.
Think about your job, whatever it is. You are a dentist. Would you ever really want to, like your schedule is, I work from late February until, October. And I work almost every single day. I get maybe, 12 days off between that. And then I get the entire, 4 months, November, December, January, most of February. I get that pretty much completely off. Maybe I'll do a little reading on my subject and a couple of things. But for the most part, I'm off. You would still get tired during that stretch. That wouldn't be that wouldn't be fun to have to be working as much as you did in that job for that stretch.
For sure.
And that's what a baseball player's schedule is.
Yeah.
There's definitely an argument to be said that they would be better off, everybody, even position players, with a little more time off, a little more freedom from the job to stay mentally fresh and engaged for a very long season.
Keeping people mentally fresh and engaged for a season is a challenge, and that's a challenge that Skip's going to face. That's a challenge that Mike Schilt's going to face. That's a challenge that everybody, high school coaches face it. T-ball coaches face it. Keep those kids mentally sharp for an hour while they're trying to play. It's an interesting theory that Gabe Kapler has, and Skip will get all of the interesting theories thrown at him. I just thought it was fascinating. It was just a new way to look at it, and you hear all the time about what a grind that season can be. It's a grind to cover. I can't imagine what a grind it is to play, get treatment. I mean, they're paid handsomely for it, I understand. But it is a grind, make no doubt about it.
Would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Read me that text that you got just a few minutes ago about me from your friend Jack.
My buddy Jack Taylor, you guys know, he's a friend of the program, texted me at 7:24. He said, at some point, can you ask Ben when I can listen to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti?
I am so glad you asked, Jack, because you can tune in to Kickoff with Boomer Esiason and Mike Valenti every Friday at 7 p.m. here on 97.3 The Fan, and always on the free Odyssey app. It is presented nationally by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos, brought to you by those who drink it, and by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. That was organic. I loved how that worked out. If you would tomorrow, someone else out there would like to text Woods and ask that same question every single day, that would really give me a nice avenue to wedge it into our program somewhere.
So good.
All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, heard an outfield name that surprised me that is on potentially the trade market, but the Padres are looking for outfielders, and this would be an intriguing name. He's left-handed, plays a pretty good defensive center field, and I had not once heard his name mentioned in this offseason until yesterday. So is it a potential target for A.J. Preller? Pure speculation, but we can get into that coming up next after a check of traffic with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
That topic sparked a lot of discussion in the chat, Benny. My 1417 says all this garbage load management on the pitchers is 100% pure, wholesome, liquid garbage. Pitchers get hurt just as often, if not more. 5 inning start should be considered a sissy start.
This isn't really load management.
It's not load management.
Like, it's not load management when Joe Musgrove throws 8 innings and then doesn't throw the next day.
Right.
That's not load management. We're talking about days where they normally would not be pitching under any circumstances, just not showing up to the ballpark that day and giving them a true day off, as opposed to having them sit there for 7 hours. Yeah, maybe they come in for an hour for treatment, but you don't have to stay for the game, be in uniform, in the dugout the entire time, just mentally supporting your teammates. Is it more valuable for them to just get away from it for a day rather than the value you might get from their presence in the dugout or in a bullpen somewhere?
And I don't think anybody in here is advocating for that. I could see how it would rub people the wrong way. As a fan, if you knew Joe Musgrove wasn't going to pitch that day, you weren't expecting him to pitch, he's not the starting pitcher, would you be bummed that he wasn't at the game? I know NBA fans are bummed when a star player doesn't play because they're hurt, load management, second day of back-to-back games, and they went to want to see that guy play, and he's not in the game, but he's usually sitting there on the bench too, in street clothes and not playing in the game, but he's there. Doesn't just sit at home and watch the game on television.
It's a little different with only 82 games and 41.
Still a lot of
41
games.
Road games. But, if you're a Pelicans fan, you're buying tickets to the Lakers when they come to town because you want to see LeBron.
Sure.
But if he just had a big game the night before that was on national television and your game's not, you're probably not playing that game. And that sucks.
It does. It does.
Sucks for the fans.
It's the tough part about it. Baseball is a little different. Like you said, if I go to the game and Joe Musgrove pitched on Tuesday night, if I go to the ballpark on Wednesday, I don't really need
now,
to
if
see.
I just, blindly pick a game on the calendar for the Padres, I'm expecting Fernando Tatis Jr. to play in that game. I'm expecting Manny Machado to be playing in that game.
Absolutely.
Obviously,
if they're healthy.
injury happens.
Right.
But you can't do that with starting pitchers.
Jeff Gordon says, what do you think Goose Gossage would say about load management?
You're a nerd, too.
Well, he would definitely say that. I mean, it's not like Goose went out and threw 9 innings every day.
No, he threw more than most relievers nowadays throw.
No question.
He threw more than all relievers nowadays throws.
Yeah, things change. Things change, and the money's gone up, and the nervousness has gone up. And
I'm not advocating for Gabe Kapler's theory.
Nor am I. But it's funny.
It's something to think about.
It's definitely it's interesting.
If your logic against it is just, well, this is how we've always done it, well, that's stupid.
That's weird logic. Yeah.
All right. So what would you say if I told you that there was a potential outfielder available on the trade market? Padres need an outfielder. He's left-handed. He's got, I think, 5 years of control. He hit .295 with 44 extra base hits last year, .828 OPS, stole 22 bases, had a 121 OPS plus, young, cheap. Why is this guy even available? I don't know the answer to that question, but...
And is he for sure?
We don't know. John Heyman said on a Bleacher Report live stream yesterday that he has heard the name Jerren Duran being brought up in trade talks from the Boston Red Sox. Now, he doesn't know that they're actively shopping him, but I looked up a report from earlier in the offseason, and they said the Red Sox were indeed shopping maybe some of their young outfielders. There were no specific names attached to it, but it did mention Jerren Duran in that piece as well. So Duran, and I don't know how much, I had to kind of look up a little bit his career arc, and he's 27 years old now. Came up a couple of times as a prospect, didn't do so well, finally kind of broke through a little bit last year and had that good season that I just described with also 8 home runs and 40 runs batted in, 24 stolen bases and 26 attempts, and improved defense fairly dramatically. He wasn't a great defensive player, he's fast, but he seemed to put it kind of together last year, and a lot of people considered him a potential rising star for the Boston Red Sox, but there are others who maybe feel like this may be the ceiling. I don't know. Given the Padres outfield situation, though.
Sure. Yes. The answer is yes. I mean,
the answer seems to be like that's a clear fit. And if anyone's talking to the Red Sox about Jerren Duran, you'd feel like A.J. Preller has got to be one of the names that might be involved in talks like that.
He's got 5 more seasons of team control before reaching free agency.
I mean, 2 more before even arbitration.
He's not going to...
He's a minimum player at this point.
Yeah, he's not going to cost you a low-level prospect. That's the thing is, what am I giving back to the Boston Red Sox? Craig Breslow is the new GM. They have not been super active. They're talking about wanting to get rid of Kenley Jansen and his salary. That's the part that scares me. Are you then saying, okay, well, we'll take on Kenley Jansen, and God, what is he making? We're going to take on Kenley Jansen, his salary, and we're going to give you top prospects for a center fielder that just kind of figured it out last year.
But then what, you just signed Giolito. Why did you do that, right? If you're the Red Sox.
Yeah, well, to eat innings.
I guess so.
And again, we just heard Skip Schumaker talk about Sandy Alcantara eating innings.
I guess the Red Sox, to me, are in a tough spot because you can't ever really punt if you're the Boston Red Sox. You got Fenway Park. It's always packed. You're a historic team, but you're playing in a division where, unfortunately, you've got the Baltimore Orioles, who are in full go-for-it, 100-win mode and only getting better. Your big rival, the New York Yankees, just added Juan Soto. They're clearly going for it, getting better. The Toronto Blue Jays are in their window, and they're going for it with a bunch of stars and sluggers on that team. And the Tampa Bay Rays are the Rays, and they're probably going to be pretty good like they are every single year. You're kind of clearly the worst team in that division. And there's not a lot you can do this offseason to change that fact. So how do you manage that if you're their new general manager, Craig Breslow,
well,
and figure out a way that how do we work through this in this division when we're clearly there's nothing I can do this year to really make us better than the Orioles or the Yankees or probably even the Rays or the Blue Jays.
But then what you're talking about for the Padres on their end is getting rid of some of potentially your top guys because, again, this isn't a rental type guy. This is a 5-year type deal.
But isn't that the kind of guy that you would rather pick up if you're going to give up someone? It's not a rental.
That being said, 27 years old, why are they shopping him? If he's young and cheap and plays center field, which is, you want to be strong up the middle, and he just figured it out last year, if you really, what's the reason you're on the phone with me, Craig Breslow? Why do you want to get rid of a 27-year-old center fielder who started to break out and can run and can hit a little hit with power? And why do you want to get rid of him? What am I missing here? He's not a fit for you. Doesn't fit well in Boston. He's a California kid, as you mentioned.
He's from Corona, California.
So, I mean, you asked me if I'm interested. Yeah, but not at the price of a Robbie Snelling or a Dylan Lesko or a Jackson Merrill.
What about like an Adam Mazer and another lower level prospect? I mean where do we draw the line?
I don't know that you get them to bite on that, Benny. And what are you?
He's not like a top 100 can't miss prospect. He's more of a Jake Cronin. He's already 27. He's a later bloomer, an older prospect who's not going to have quite as long of a prime, even if he does have a decent prime. So maybe there's a little less value there. I don't know why he's available or if he's available, but his name came up yesterday. There's been shockingly few left-handed outfielders, which would be the primary need for the San Diego Padres right now. Yeah. And when I saw that name, I go, well, that checks a lot of boxes that the Padres could use right now. What would it take to pry him away from the Boston Red Sox?
I mean, look, and he's not the next Mookie Betts, right? That Craig Breslow is probably going to regret trading for the rest of his life. He's 27 years old, as you mentioned. So, yeah, I think you certainly look at that, and it's pretty clear that the free agent market is not going to be something that the Padres are really interested in. But again, the getting creative on a trade. Look, now's the time for a 9-year general manager to go in and fleece a guy that's been on the job for 3 months, right? This is the time to do that. And if that's a team that's willing to do it, then you got to take a look at it.
There's, I would say that where there's smoke, there's fire. There's no real smoke here, but if the Red Sox are talking, the Padres should be talking as well.
Agreed.
All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back. The projections are out from Baseball Prospectus. They're Pacoda win projections.
Do we have to?
Don't panic.
I'm going to.
I don't want anyone to lose their minds when I talk about the fourth place projections for your San Diego Padres. Coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Big game coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by Solo Stove. Feel the heat of the world's most popular smokeless fire pit. Visit them today at solostove.com. You get a lot of silly things that happen during Super Bowl week. Yeah. One of them came yesterday from a Twitter X user named Josh Chavis, I believe, who pointed out, fairly innocuously, that Brock Purdy happens to look like another well-known person in American history. And he had the pictures for comparison, and I have to say he's actually pretty spot on with the fact that Brock Purdy looks like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, there's a similarity there, to be sure.
It's not his fault. Can't blame Brock Purdy for that. No one's accusing him of anything. Everyone kind of looks like someone else. I mean, there's not a person around who you can't. They sort of look like someone else, right? Everyone's got a look-alike out there.
Yeah.
We found your look-alike on doing.
Did we never get him? We never got him on
sports like radio
in Dallas.
In Dallas,
he's doing remember that guy? My twin with the same hand.
I think it was just that one video because then we looked at others and we're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, it wasn't that, but that one video was identical. Me, and when you were portlier, Ben, you used to get Bobby Bacala from The Sopranos, which scarily. So
there's a hair thing going on.
The hair thing for sure.
If you're on our YouTube stream, you get in the comparison between the presidential assassin Lee Harvey Oswald and Brock Purdy. Who, give Brock a couple more years and just a little bit of weathering, and they could be twins.
Yeah, the features are similar, the hair, the whole thing. But they asked him about it yesterday, and he goes, "What? No."
That's an awkward question
to
be asked.
What do you? Hey, so you look like Lee Harvey Oswald.
Well, thanks, man.
Yep, thank you.
Next question.
We need to get this game going. We got to get this game going ASAP.
Still only Wednesday. Still have Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
all of Sunday.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Not quite there yet. All right, speaking of lookalikes, we had Skip Schumaker on. He's a good-looking guy, but his team's Pacoda projections actually look very much like those of the San Diego Padres. We'll get into that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Hey guys, don't get mad if I don't mention your freeway. There's just a lot going on, as you could probably imagine. 2 separate crashes now on southbound 125, one right before Otay Lakes. I got a couple vehicles involved in this one. It's partially blocking the slow lane. Then up ahead near the toll plaza, there is another crash. This one is over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on southbound 5 at the East 52 connector ramp. A vehicle spun out, hit the center divide. Yeah, a lot of spin outs on those transition ramps. That's where you got to really take it extra carefully, guys. East 78 before Mar Vista, an accident being cleared out of lanes. And on the westbound 78, an accident clearing right around Emeralds. Just please continue to take it extra carefully out there, guys. And if you're driving around without your headlights on, you're just asking for trouble. Come on, put them on so you're more visible to other drivers. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So what are Pacoda projections from Baseball Prospectus? It's the new wave of analytics and sports prognostication, where instead of just having a talking head look at a roster and go, I think that's an 84-win team, they will plug in the numbers of an entire roster, project different seasons, hundreds and thousands. I don't know how many exactly that they do. Kind of see where the average lies. If this guy has a better than average season, they might be here, worse here. Combine them all together and come up with a number that is right in the middle of what you can expect your team to do based on the players that are currently on your team's roster.
Okay.
And for the San Diego Padres, they ran those numbers, and right now they project the Padres to win 79.7 games.
That's lower end of the other projections that I think I've seen.
So 80 and 82 would be the kind of the standard middle projection. Now, they run those seasons. Sometimes the Padres win 87 games. Sometimes they win 74 games.
They do the average.
It comes out to the average based on the players that are on their team. It's not too good. None of us are going to be too happy with an 80-win season for the San Diego Padres below 500, clearly. However, before you go just panicking, I will say that I looked deeper into those projections. Okay, so who are they actually projecting to play for the San Diego Padres, especially in the outfield?
Yeah.
And
Paulie.
So in their projections, because it includes like injuries and the possibility of other players coming in, obviously they had Fernando Tatis Jr. taking the bulk of the at-bats out in right field for his team this season. They filled the other outfield spots, about 1,500 plate appearances worth, with Jose Azocar, Cal Mitchell, and Tirso Ornelas. Those were the projected guys that they had to put in there because they don't have any other options. So you didn't get great numbers, if you can imagine, out of a Cal Mitchell, who's a minor league invite coming to spring training, local guy, from the Pittsburgh Pirates, has only had one season basically and a cup of coffee in the big leagues. Tirso Ornelas, who has not played in the big leagues yet for the Padres, an older prospect, but still just a prospect. So those numbers that they projected, and for Jose Azocar, it's what you'd expect from a backup fourth outfielder kind of guy, not too great. So that's a lot. That's a lot of at-bats with almost, no production. If the Padres can find a couple of guys to get decent, even average production, those projections will go up. Like 2 or 3 wins just right there to a level that is, and by the way, all these numbers are more to the middle. Like the Miami Marlins playoff team, they were 80.2, right around where the San Diego Padres are. The San Francisco Giants, 80.7. The Diamondbacks, hot on the team, on the rise, 85.3. Even the Dodgers, they were at 101.9. A lot of people think, that seems kind of low for the Dodgers based on what they've done in the past and the additions that they've made. But remember, these are all averaged out. And, sometimes you're going to project good seasons, sometimes bad seasons. So just because your team is projected to win 80 games right now doesn't lock you into that forever. You can have guys who outperform their season. You can still acquire guys before the season starts that completely change those projections. But right now, baseline with the players that are currently on the 40-man roster that Mike Shildt can use, they look like, to the computers, an 80-win team right now.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't really care. I wonder what Pacoda had us at last year.
Last year, I think I saw that it was around 89. I think last year.
So fell short of that last year. I mean, again, projection. It's fun. It's a fun thing to kick around and discuss. And I just don't think you should. I don't think you should get upset about power rankings. I don't think you should get upset about Pacoda rankings. I do believe.
It'd be weird to get upset about something that is strictly numbers plugged into a formula.
Correct.
There's no one that is hating your team or loving your team. Yeah. It's just numbers plugged into a formula.
It's emotionless, right? It's emotion.
Completely
It's an emotionless thing. So I'm not going to give a lot of emotion to something that's not an emotional decision. It's not an emotional comment that the San Diego Padres are only going to win 80 games. So many teams exceed or fall short of projections and expectations every single year. It's the dumbest sport around. Happens to be our favorite sport by far, but it is the dumbest sport around. It doesn't make any sense. And anybody that tries to make sense of it, it's a fool's errand. It really is. It's truly a fool's errand. I understand why they do it. I am interested to see them every year, but I can't get up in arms about a projected outfield of Tirso Ornelas and Cal Mitchell and Sugar and Fernando Tatis Jr. right now. Run them again, start of spring training, run them again at the All-Star break. We'll see, what happens. But it's so you cannot put your finger on baseball a lot of the times. It doesn't make any sense. The weird things that happened last year, no one would have ever predicted that they would be 0-11 or whatever they were in extra inning games, and you just can't project that stuff. So it's an unprojectable sport that we all love to project.
Now, I tweeted out yesterday kind of those same observations about I'd be very surprised if the Padres got 1,500 plate appearances from the trio of Jose Azocar, Cal Mitchell, and Tirso Ornelas. Either one of two things have happened. All three of those guys were stunningly good in spring training and then started the season well, and we felt pretty good about them over the course of the year. Or AJ has completely dropped the ball because there's really no reasonable universe where you would see 1,500 plate appearances out of guys with so little major league starting appearance in one outfield, starting experience in one outfield. I was so surprised. We had one, I'm trying to find the list. They said, if that happens, would you wear a diaper for a show like Woods did? And I said, I'm pretty comfortable saying that if those guys combine for 1,500 plate appearances for the Padres, I'll do my own diaper show at the end of the season.
Save that.
So there you go.
We weren't on YouTube back in 2020.
I remember a couple years ago, I said, if Jorge Alfaro is your starting, people were saying he's going to start in left field because we needed a left fielder a couple years ago.
Weird.
Ended up getting Jerren. Again, they're so easy to find. Cool. Why were people talking about Alfaro starting in left field on opening day? I said, if he starts in left field, I'll eat a shoe. It got down to the wire where I was like, I'm going to need to start buttering up a shoe here pretty soon. It felt like it was a possibility. But, yeah, I think you're safe in your bet there, Benny. I don't think that those guys are going to make up the bulk of the ABs. I'm so interested to see what exactly it's going to be. And I'll tell you, whoever it is, you're in good shape. Because whoever you are, I'm going to be your biggest fan, right? I'm going to be like, yes, I didn't know that guy was out there. Let's go, Eddie Rosario or somebody. I'm going to be like, oh, God, missing piece. Ruben got me fired up a little bit yesterday. I was excited. And I've been excited about the arms that we have, and I know that there's innings to replace and all that. But he got me a little bit. He steered me a little bit back towards the optimistic side. But yeah, I think until those slots are filled, I'm going to be a little bit on edge.
But the good news is you don't need to do that much to improve on the trio of Jose Azocar, Cal Mitchell, and Tirso Ornelas. You don't need to land a major free agent who's costing $25 million a year. You don't need to trade your best prospects for an outfielder. Just about anyone could improve on those projections by bringing them in before the start of the season.
Yeah, it's a good point that you make. But you did say it's not time to panic, and it's not. It's not yet. If that's the opening day, sure, yeah, you're going to feel a lot of trepidation with those guys that you just mentioned getting that number of ABs potentially. But remember, the team's going to look different at the All-Star break. The team's going to look different throughout the course of the season. Should be some roster shakeups here. I would hope sooner than later.
Yeah,
we've been saying that for months.
The same follower said, "Well, if two of those guys start in the outfield for the beginning of the season, will you wear the diaper?" And I go, no. Because that actually does seem like it's in the realm of possibility.
Correct.
Now, 1,500 at plate appearances,
that's a lot.
Not at all. Yep. Like those projections say. But to start the season, I don't know. I don't know that AJ is going to make huge moves before then. They may have to roll with something less than ideal for a while before they address it. And we don't know who's going to look good at spring training.
That's it.
That's it's kind of fun. One of the things that will be exciting going to spring training, and we'll be there in less than 3 weeks now, is an honest competition to see who do you think can really help this team right now. Are one of these young guys ready to make the leap and step up? We don't know what they're doing right now and with the work that they're putting in. And, they roll into Peoria and the Cactus League games, and all of a sudden a guy like Jackson Merrill is hitting 300 in the Cactus League, and, he's been playing some outfield and looking decent out there. Yeah, he could start the season. He could be your left fielder to start the season or your center fielder on opening day if things go well. I just don't want to get into a situation where Jackson Merrill is hitting 140 in the spring, and he's still working the kinks out defensively. But we also have to start him on opening day.
Yeah, you're in the big leagues
because we don't have anyone else.
Right.
I don't. That's the situation you want to avoid. But there's nothing wrong with the situation that Tirso Ornelas has a fantastic spring and hits 330 with 4 home runs, and yeah. I'm willing to give those guys a shot. I just don't want to force a guy who's not ready to have to take their shot because there's no other options.
We've belabored the point, but if you are going to go with the youth movement, right? The youth movement needs to play, and it doesn't them no good to come up here and sit. If you're going to throw a Band-Aid on at the end of spring training, there's a guy available, and he's going to be a left fielder, and he's got big league experience, and you run him out there. But Jackson Merrill's going to make the team and get a couple of ABs a week. That's not going to do anything for you, and I don't think the Padres are going to do anything like that. So if you commit, you got to be pot committed. You have to go in and say, all right, he made the team legitimately, and this is the guy we're going to roll with. But Yeah, I mean, it's always a risk. Benny signing a free agent's a huge risk. So it surprises me. It does surprise me that it hasn't been really addressed yet. Pitchers and catchers reporting this Sunday, of course. But, hey, man, all we can do is be patient. It sucks. It's not my best quality at all, being patient. I'd love to be breaking down all the new additions and where they're going to slot into the lineup, but that's just not the case.
By the way, if you'd like a more optimistic computer model, Fangraphs just came out with their standings. They project the Padres for 81.2 wins.
Oh, so 1.2
and
better.
a 33% chance to make the postseason.
And Pacoda had us at 24%?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Katie Wu just tweeted, they have the Cardinals at 84 wins, which is best in the NL Central, 55.6% chance to make the playoffs. The best thing the Padres could do right now would be move to the NL Central.
You guys ready to move to St. Louis? I'm in. 2 teams. Let's go. Move the team to somewhere in the Central. Who needs a team? Kansas? No, they have a team. No, it's in Missouri.
Actual Kansas.
Let's move to the Central.
Nebraska has no team.
Iowa.
It's very central.
Iowa. Yeah.
Hey, babe, we're moving to Iowa.
Yeah, we're moving to Des Moines. Awesome. I'd follow them.
The Des Moines Padres.
It gives you a better shot. It's Central so weak in both divisions. I'm telling you, man. But, yeah, I mean, Cardinals have added like a bunch of senior citizen
I don't think that
pitchers.
Arkansas has any Major League Baseball teams.
I'll pass.
Oklahoma.
Pass. Yeah, it's exhausting right now, thinking about it and talking about it. But listen, this is where we are at. I'm being forced to be patient. It's not my best quality at all.
I mean, Oklahoma City has as many Major League professional pro teams as San Diego.
That's right.
So there you go.
That's where we slot in.
Yeah, but the Centrals are pretty weak.
Yep, they are.
Woo. Twins 84.9, Cardinals 84.4, both projected to win their divisions.
Must be nice.
At less than 85 wins, essentially. And then you want to win the West, you better think about winning 100 games. Plus, if that is even enough to win the National League West.
I'm excited for the Reindl Report. Paulie's going to be covering a breaking story in the world of baseball. I wonder what my interest level will be. I've been clamoring.
I've been wondering that as well.
I've been clamoring for this, and they've tried it in other sports, and I've been semi-engaged.
Also have another spring training Padres ticket giveaway coming up in our final hour. Don't go anywhere. Ben and Woods continuing on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Welcome back to the PGA Tour. Tiger Woods. He just announced he will be playing next week at his own tournament, the Genesis, at Riviera in Los Angeles. Not a huge stunning surprise. He did say he wanted to play like once a month all 2024, but this is the first time he's officially announced he's returning after his surgery about a year ago to fuse his ankle.
And the Phoenix Waste Management Open starts tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
just the WM Open now in Phoenix.
Oh, is that what it is? WM.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. It's wild. It is wild.
I played that course when I was there a few months ago. They were already setting up like in October, they were setting up the stadium bleachers around the 16th green.
It's bananas, man.
To get it ready for the tournament. It takes that long to get it set up, and then they'll take 3 weeks taking it down, and then in a few months they'll start setting it up again.
It's electric. It's
every
like the most
year.
electric golf tournament. So much fun. You'll see a ton of good content coming out from golf content creators. Everyone's out there. It's on the calendar every year, circled. I'll get off the air tomorrow, go home and sit on my ass and watch that tournament first round.
It's not a major. It's not
Nope.
even an
Not even
elevated event.
It's just fun.
But there is something compelling about it.
Super fun.
Players will play to the crowd on 16, where they're put on like
it's a blast.
An Arizona Cardinals jersey or something. Just whatever to get the crowd riled up, and then if they miss the green, they'll get booed, and if there's a hole in one, the place will be pandemonium with drinks flying and cups flying everywhere. It's like no golf tournament you ever get to see. That's for sure.
It's Happy Gilmore-esque. It's a lot of fun.
You asked me, we were talking about the Padres projections from Pacoda Baseball Prospectus. You asked me who is projected to be the DH on this team. They didn't really have one guy. They split it up among
We don't either really have
other many players, including Matt Batten, about 100 plate appearances. They had Cal Mitchell getting about 70, Tirso Ornelas getting about 100. They have Jacob Marcy coming up, getting about 70 plate appearances as a DH. Manny does it some of the time when he's not playing third. They have Eggy doing it a little bit, 5% of the time. Xander doing it some of the time. So they projected kind of a rotating cast of designated hitters for the Padres.
Okay. Yeah, I felt, and I was getting some texts from some friends that were saying that feels a little generous, 80 wins, losing some of the caliber of the players that we lost, having some of the great unknowns, and, of course, some of the holes. It felt a little bit
But remember, they're not projecting off of an 82-win season.
No,
they're projecting the losses from what they projected last year, which
Correct.
was closer to a 90-win
Right.
team. So that actually is a pretty big drop.
Yep.
That's almost 10-win drop
Yep.
from where they were projected at this point last year. And that reflects the losses of players like Juan Soto and Blake Snell no longer being on this roster.
100%.
All right, Paulie's got some headlines. Let's get to the Reindl Report. And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Ham or beef, Paulie?
We
Do you
tried
like ham or
lasagna.
beef?
It's my favorite.
Catch a game last night.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Absolutely.
All right. Story that I think Woods is kind of excited about, but I'm not sure now.
I think I am. I like the concept.
It was announced this morning that Netflix is going to partner up with Major League Baseball and provide us with a Hard Knocks-esque documentary series following one team throughout an entire season, which is something that I think any baseball fan has been clamoring for a long time now.
I think so, too.
Problem is, it's been announced that they're going to follow the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, this is it's a weird choice, I think. They're not maybe that's the good part, following a team that's really kind of in limbo. You haven't really added a lot of pieces. You've spent some weird money the last couple of years. You finished last year. I don't know. My first thought obviously was, would this ever happen in San Diego? And I don't think it would.
Would because what I mean, like they wouldn't allow it to happen. Well, obviously AJ Preller, if he was given the choice, would not allow it to happen. Now, in Hard Knocks, eventually teams are not even given the choice. Like there's only 3 teams that are eligible, and it's going to have to be the Jets. So the Jets had to do it last year. No one really volunteers for it for the most part. So but since they're in the first one, I doubt. I'm sure they can avoid it for a while. Here's my question. Is there that much that we're missing behind the scenes in baseball?
Yes.
You think so?
100%. 100,000 million
I
trillion
mean, we're in there much more than we are in any other sports. Before the game, after the game. I mean, there's media. Yeah, there are times when they're closed doors, but we talk to the manager multiple times per day. Yeah, there's a lot that's going on that you see pretty clearly in a baseball season.
Are you telling me, though, where in football, when they're at practice every day, reporters are at practice every day, they're talking to the head coach, the DC, the OC.
That's the thing. We have a model. We've seen this in football.
Correct.
For sure.
And
we know what it can bring.
And when Hard Knocks first, now, like anything, it's like Ben Reed's raps. It's fun for a while, and after a while, you're like, I don't want to hear this again. The special occasions only. Might tune into a Hard Knocks every now and then, but the first time you watched Hard Knocks, you were blown away, weren't you, when they were doing cut down day and all the things that you never saw before? So when does this start? This starts now? They're going to be rolling out cameras and putting out content? How's this? Have they said how they're going to do it?
Yeah, it's for the 2024 season, and it says they're going to have behind-the-scenes access to players, coaches, and executives from spring training through the end of the season. I was reading, this is...
I'm sure we'll see some things like, guys who are getting caught and called up to the big leagues, like we do in Hard Knocks, that is usually behind closed doors.
Adam Grossman is the chief marketing officer for the Red Sox, and he's quoted as saying, this wasn't originally planned to be like a Red Sox thing. It was more of the importance of getting baseball into this medium, these sort of doc series and global platform opportunities. And then MLB started thinking about it and came back to the Red Sox like, hey, we kind of want to follow this model, and kind of did some convincing. Like, they had to get the coaches and the players and the whole staff on board, and eventually Boston said, okay, we will participate in this.
Be the first
but it took
ones,
like months.
Man. The guinea pigs, if you will. I love it. I can't wait to watch it. I think little things, little things. We love the minutia of baseball. We love it. Like, I could listen to Ruben be able to talk about pitch shapes and this and that all day long. So if you want to show me, the more you show me, the better. I've said many, many times on this show, if I could pay, I would. If I could pay an exorbitant amount of money to have every player mic'd up, to hear what a mound visit sounds like, to hear what they're saying in the dugout, to hear everything, sky's the limit to what I would pay. I want it all. I want everything I can learn.
The most important thing was that the players buy in, because they're the ones that are going to be highlighted the most throughout this season. And Alex Cora said, we're going to embrace this experience from the very first day of filming to the last. This is an incredible opportunity for the entire Red Sox organization, but I'm most excited about what this means for our players. Netflix will be able to magnify their stories in a way Major League Baseball has never seen.
So in on it.
I don't think there's been a case where a team has been damaged by the behind-the-scenes cameras.
I don't think so.
Right? I mean, we've seen some success stories.
Remember AB when he was with the Raiders? And remember, like, when he went to the cryo chamber and his feet fell off? Like, remember that? There was some stuff that you saw, you're like, oh, man, this is not going in the direction I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, there's certainly some winners and losers individually.
Correct. Yes,
but
yes.
In terms of, yeah, we were a really good team, but then we let the cameras in behind the scenes, and it just destroyed everything. I don't think that happens. If there's a coach that's worried like it's going to wreck the dynamic, I don't think that we've seen any evidence that that's the case.
Okay, so I'm reading this press release here. So they're going to follow the team all season long in 2024. The docu-series will debut in 2025. It's not going to be real time.
You got to shoot it, and then you put it together in the end.
They'll add all the good stuff out that we really want to see.
Well, like in Hard Knocks, I mean, you're seeing
they
guys
leave a lot
that
of
were
the
cut.
Good stuff in Hard Knocks.
Yeah, but like you're seeing guys that were cut on a Monday, you're watching it the following Sunday or something. Like it's It's pretty close to real time.
Yeah, that's true. It's
will
within
not
a
be
week
like
and a
that.
half or so, you're kind of seeing what happened. But this is going to be more of a after the fact.
And MLB also announced another documentary coming out on the 2004 Red Sox, 20 years later, winning the World Series.
Yeah. Petey Pablos' feet fell off. Yeah, man. Remember that? He went to cryo, and he went barefoot, and his feet, were flaking off. The 6-inch chunks of his feet were, falling off, and he's like, yeah, I think I can go this weekend. He was holding his feet up. Almost threw up. Remember that?
I do.
It was so
I mean,
awful.
feet falling off is a bit of an exaggeration,
Sure,
but
yes, but you know what I mean.
There were pieces
Parts
that
of
were
his
kind
foot were flaking off, and he looked like Hansel and Gretel with breadcrumbs behind him as he walked. It was disgusting.
All right.
Absolutely disgusting.
Keeping it in Major League Baseball, the mayor of Las Vegas sat down with Front Office Sports recently this week and did a podcast, and they talked about everything, the Golden Knights, the Super Bowl being in Las Vegas, et cetera, et cetera. And when they were talking about sports and Vegas rising as a sports city, of course, the Oakland A's came to topic, and here's what I want to play what she said first. There's been a little bit of an update. She had to release a statement, the mayor did, but here's the comments that she made on the podcast.
We have a very large complex, probably about 60 acres. We probably could cobble together more land so they could possibly have 100 acres. And it's in the historic old part of town, which is where all major interstate highways come together. We have 7 access points to it. It is in an opportunity zone. There are all these benefits. And so when they said no, I thought, this doesn't make sense. And so why is it happening? And then I thought, well, because they really want to stay in Oakland. They want to be on the water. They have that magnificent dream, and yet they can't get it.
Would it be a good thing if the A's do, in fact, move to the Tropicana?
I personally, I'm not talking about anybody else, anywhere else in this community. I personally think they've got to figure out a way to stay in Oakland to make their dream come true.
So that went viral. The mayor of Vegas saying, I think the A's should stay in Oakland.
I mean, she clearly said that. Can't really talk yourself out of that one.
What was the...
She tried. She issued a statement yesterday. It's a statement on today's conversation about the Oakland A's. I want to be clear that I am excited about the prospect of Major League Baseball in Las Vegas. And it very well may be that the Las Vegas A's will become a reality that we will welcome to our city. On February 5th, I was interviewed for the Front Office Sports podcast. It was one of many interviews about the rise of major sports in Las Vegas, blah, 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 blah. We discussed several topics, including the A's, for about 7 minutes, and I mentioned the passionate fans of Oakland who often visit our city to cheer on the Raiders. My points included that it is my belief that in their perfect world, the ownership of the A's would like to have a new ballpark on the water in Oakland, and that the ownership and government there should listen to their great fans and to try to make that dream come true. Should that fail, Las Vegas has shown that it is a spectacular market for Major League sports franchises.
So, and Tim makes the point, this is what I saw a tweet yesterday, the Tropicana site is not in the city.
It's not it's in the city limits, but Clark County controls the Strip, entertainment district.
Right.
So she doesn't have the authority.
She doesn't really have the authority.
But there's a lot of people who have said this is kind of a dicey site for a baseball ballpark. It's it's just a corner. It's just one corner of the Strip.
Wild.
They might wedge it in there, and it's going to look cool. But is it really going to be functional for a Major League Baseball team and their needs on such a small piece of land? There are a lot of concerns, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but John Fisher is actually a worse owner than even Dean Spanos is. I mean, even Dean got the mayor of Carson on board when they were going to try to move. I mean, he didn't get a lot of other people on board, but at least he got a couple of move up there when he was trying to get it going. John Fisher can't even get the politicians in Vegas really on board with the idea of moving his team. Economic benefits, let's do this. No, everyone seems opposed to this, other than the major league owners who approved it and John Fisher, which is crazy.
I mean, again, it's going to go down as a huge, huge black mark, I guess, on Commissioner Manfred's record, but his record is so filled with those. Does he really care at this point? I mean, the owners are making money, so they just jammed this thing in. They're going to jam it down Vegas's throat, it sounds like, and the people of Oakland will suffer certainly. So it's a bummer.
Speaking of Las Vegas, last time I went to Las Vegas, the wife and I, we went out to a club, and they had a celebrity DJ that night.
Okay.
It was Lil Jon.
Lil Jon. Yeah.
Lil
Jon.
He's great. Yeah! And he was in the news yesterday because TMZ is reporting that he's got a new album coming out soon. And it's not the kind of album that you might be used to, something like this.
Turn down for what? Oh, my God, yes.
It's not going to be like that at all. It's going to be the exact opposite. He is doing a meditation album, which sounds
soothe me.
Very odd.
I'm not soothed when I hear Lil Jon. I'm not. It's like the opposite. It's actually quite infuriating.
Now, they talk about that because they're like, it's not as crazy as it may sound. Apparently, over the years, he has become very in tune with fitness, wellness, meditating, and all of that. So this album that's coming out here in a couple of weeks actually is very in tune with who he is as a person.
Okay, I will give it a shot. I gave Andre 3000 from Outkast, did a flute record. Flute? Was it flutes? No, it was...
what was that?
I'm sorry. What is a meditation album? Is it just like soothing
Mantras?
sounds of the sea, chants?
You're going to have to get the
buy
album
it to find out.
February 16th, a 10-track meditation album from
Can you
Lil
win a
Jon.
Grammy for this? Is this something you can... Meditation, is there a category?
Yeah, it was a flute record that Andre 3000, rapper from Outkast, he did a flute record, and I go, what is this guy doing? Put it on, loved it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I really did. So I'm going to open my mind to the Lil Jon meditation album. Yeah,
I'll certainly
Jeter,
check it out. I don't know that I'm going to put it on and fall asleep to it, but
Jeter made
maybe.
a good point. He said, you gave Steven Seagal's music a shot. Why not Lil Jon? Yeah, the worst recording artist in history.
Is it even
listen
music?
to M.R. all day long.
That's true.
Is it music?
Big bomber class before busting on me head.
It doesn't get any better than M.R. It just doesn't.
I mean,
Big bomber class before busting on me head.
technically, you could meditate to anything. You could meditate to that, right?
Play it again.
I mean,
Big bomber class before busting on me head.
Mm-hmm.
is that going to get you...
Big bomber class before busting on me head.
There's nobody better than M.R. I watch him. I watched those videos all day. I saw a girl tweet the other day. She said, I actually hoped, when I walked in the room, my boyfriend slammed his phone down. I actually hoped he was cheating instead of listening to more videos from...
Big bomber class before busting on me head.
I did. I'm obsessed with it. That's all I listen to at home. I watch the videos all day long, dude. I can't get enough.
Big bomber class before busting on me head.
I can't get enough.
All right, don't go anywhere. We're going to give away some Padres spring training tickets when we come back and a chance to qualify for the getaway with the airline gift card and the hotel night stay as well. Get to that coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, here's Kelly with Little Traffic.
Big bomber class before busting on me head.
This hour of Ben and Woods is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. Little missed opportunity last night. Have you ever been so close to something and felt just a little bit short?
Most of my life.
Big accomplishments?
Yeah, most of my life.
Well, a lot of time we don't even get that close. The Edmonton Oilers in the NHL were one win away from the all-time NHL win streak record, matching the Pittsburgh Penguins. 17 in a row was the record. The Oilers had won 16 in a row.
Damn.
Little bad luck here, though, because they won their 16th in a row like a week and a half ago. And then they got to the All-Star break. And they had a long stretch where they didn't get to play, probably lost a little bit of that momentum. And they had to open the second half of the season last night with a tough game against the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Vegas Golden Knights took advantage of a couple opportunities. 3-1 win, and the winning streak for the Edmonton Oilers and their captain Connor McDavid comes to an end at 16 in a row. So close, not quite.
Sounds like Dodger loving to me, making excuses for the Edmonton Oilers and their long layoff. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's why you play the game.
That's why you play the games.
I mean, remember last season when the Padres came so tantalizingly close to four wins in a row.
So many times. So many times.
And
this
they get to 3, and you think they're finally going to get there to that magic fourth win in a row. And so many times they came just agonizingly close to that fourth win and couldn't get it done until September when they did. Multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times in September.
But the first 5 months of the year just could not get it done. And I feel like...
And had we gotten it done early in the year with that little run they went on in September, would have been the hottest team going into the playoffs, I feel like.
Yes.
So, yeah, super cool.
Like the Oilers, they won 4 in a row, 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
To get to 16 in a row, but
That's
they
a
could
lot.
not get the 17th win last night against the Vegas Golden Knights.
I keep making it a point to watch some more hockey.
And failing.
Correct.
You come tantalizingly close to watching hockey, but never quite get there in the end.
It feels like an uphill mountain to climb because I don't know much about the league, I'll be honest with you. And I know a few players here and there, and I enjoyed it, when I lived in Dallas and would go to Stars games all the time and followed the team somewhat closely.
I'm really not much different than you.
Right, but I'll
really flip it on in the playoffs. Game 7s are fun.
I like
They're
it.
great to watch.
It's fun. I mean, I love box lacrosse so much, and there's a lot of similarities. Yeah,
sure.
It's very, very similar. So I really feel like I could be a real big hockey head. Just a NHL team and following along, and I always make it a mental note. Hey, watch some hockey soon, and I just never do. I'm sorry about that. To the hockey lovers out
feels like a hockey rink in here now.
It feels
it just got very cold in our studio.
I don't know what we just got the Arctic blast that just hit us in our studio. Normally I'm sweating. I am frozen solid.
They're training us for spring training.
I think so.
In 3 weeks when we're outside, in pitch blackness in the desert mornings, which can be very cold in February, doing a show outside. So this is just a little training regimen for Ben and Woods.
We're like Navy SEALs in here, right? I mean, they're really putting us through the paces.
All right, speaking of spring training, if you'd like to head out to spring training, we are offering a pair of tickets right now to a spring training game at the Peoria Sports Complex. Be the 5th caller at 833-288-0973. You can win a pair, and you will also be entered into our grand prize drawing coming up at the end of the month of a Southwest Airlines gift card and a one-night hotel stay made possible by the Peoria Sports Complex. Visit PeoriaBaseball.com. So call now, 833-288-0973. Good luck. Maybe we will see you out at spring training with Ben and Woods, Arizona 2024. It is just 2.5 weeks away. We are already making our driving plans, getting ready to go over. We're all driving over together this time.
Yes.
Got our Airbnb is set up.
Get all the fun content you always get. I got some really wild ideas.
Looking forward to it. Sammy, though, will be over much earlier. He's going Saturday.
Yes. Yeah, this weekend.
He is leaving in 3 days. He will be on his way to Peoria.
We'll have Sammy Spring Training checking in every day next week, which means there's always a potential for a lot of flubs. Ben has a hard time saying Sammy Spring Training.
Everyone does.
I don't.
You don't?
Sammy Spring Training.
Just you.
You.
Just me.
Sammy Spring Training. Yep.
Sammy Spring Training will join us starting next Monday from the Peoria Sports Complex. All right, we'll come back. Final segment Annie and Elston coming up at the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
You've piqued my curiosity, and you have a look about you right now, Benjamin.
Well, I'm actually kind of upset with our producer over here, Paul Reindl.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I think he's making me look bad again.
How so?
Well, he does it with drops occasionally, but this is a different way that he has made me look bad. And
Their assets.
I will share with you what Paulie did.
Oh, no.
After traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Now I'm very titillated.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danek.
Well, don't expect much relief on our very messy roads. Northbound side of the 805 at Market Street got a crash blocking the right lanes. Up ahead, another accident before Governor. This one is blocking the 2 right lanes. Westbound King Freeway, a crash partially blocking the transition ramp to northbound 805. Also eastbound 78 before Vista Village. There is a collision in the center divide and an accident clearing from lanes on the westbound 78 at Emerald. Just continue to be extra careful. Give yourself plenty of extra time. A lot of closures due to flooding all around the counties. So yeah, if you need to get out in this mess, take all that into consideration. Don't be in any big rush to get anywhere. I'm Kelly Danek. Ben Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
What you got?
So
Benjamin?
at the start of the show, Woods shared his activities yesterday. You went to Dave & Buster's and Benihana.
Yeah.
All in celebration of Bo.
Yeah.
For his 6th birthday. And I saw on social media Bo opening a very cool present from Paul Reindl. Some very nice kicks. Those are Nikes.
Yeah, Jordans.
Jordans.
They
like
are bad.
Size
ass.
what for like a 6-year-old? It's like
One
good
Y
kid
or something.
good kid-sized Jordans, very sharp looking.
They're Padres colors. They're
And I,
badass.
of course, immediately thought, well, that's really nice. I didn't get Bo anything.
You don't have to.
I know I don't have to. But neither does Paul. And Paul went above and beyond and got your kid a birthday present, a really cool birthday present. I can't even come up with presents to give you guys at the holidays, much less now thinking, do I have to get presents for my coworkers' children now when they have birthdays?
What? You gave me a bucket of balls for Christmas.
I did.
It's fine. We used them.
Give
They're great.
one to Bo and tell him it's from me for his birthday.
Will you sign one for him? Happy birthday, kid.
Paul,
Ben
I
Higgins.
think you went a little overboard in gifting up Bo Woods.
All right,
for his
I got to
birthday.
defend Paulie here because a couple of months ago, Bo is he's of the younger generation. You know what else he got? You know Blake Snell's gold chain line that he reps on Instagram, Jackson,
Yes.
Jaxxon. He wanted one, so he got one. So he's walking around in a gold Jackson chain, which was the greatest when I picked him up yesterday. I didn't see him open his presents from Hannah. I got him a new baseball bat for the upcoming season. Probably it's a little bit big. He's going to have to wait a little bit, but
It's always good to have something to grow into. Yeah.
So I told Paulie a couple weeks ago, I go, man, he's really gotten into shoes. And Paulie said, oh, no. He goes, I want to get him some shoes, some Jordans for his birthday. And I said, it'd be amazing because the ones that you got him, I was going to get him.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wanted to. And I talked to you that day, and you're like, oh, dude, I want to get those for him for his birthday. I was like, done. So he did, and he...
Just to be clear, had I known that you were going to get those or you wanted to get them for him, I would have
I don't care.
absolutely yielded.
No. And it wasn't that. It was like, oh, that's a really nice gesture. So I really appreciated that from Paul and Megan. So thank you guys.
Happy to.
Paul and Megan to take care of the little guy.
Also,
who has given us so much content over the years.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the least we can do.
It's the least you guys can do.
It's my little nephew.
I will also give you the update just to let you know that I did, in fact, follow through with the development officer for my college.
Did you? I forgot to ask you.
Yes.
All right, so if you missed this story, the Pomona College, they've come after Ben. They want some money from him. They're building new sports facilities, and he's a distinguished alumni. And you met her for coffee.
You told me you've got to at least send them $100. So I emailed her back and I said, I enjoyed our coffee. Hopefully I'll be able to make it up to meet John, the head golf coach, at some point. Haven't met him. I said, well, I don't really have the ability to give much right now. Do you have a donation link where I can at least send $100 to the golf team to help purchase some golf balls or similar items?
I'm so proud of you.
Now, she hasn't gotten back to me yet. So told you she's still a little new to the job. Because there hasn't been a follow-up yet. And if she doesn't email me back, I will conveniently forget about my offer very soon.
I know you're not going to follow up. You've done. Hey,
I've done my job.
By the way, you've done your part.
Did my job.
Sending that email is very big of you, but I think
that's growth.
It's growth.
Yeah.
That is growth from you. I'm very, very proud of you.
Maybe I'll donate it to the Bo Shoe Fund instead.
If they
don't want to accept my donation,
it's going to be a thing. He's my little Blake Snell, is what he is. I mean, he's
your little Manny. He's your little
Manny.
Tatis.
Yeah.
He's your little Blake Snell.
I like that.
He's got. No kidding. He's got close to like 40 hats. He's got 15 pairs of shoes. I'm like, oh boy, we are in for it. He's got the drip and the riz, as the kids say. So it was awesome, though. He really loved him. He took him out and he said, he goes, I don't even want to wear them because I don't want to get them dirty. So he's going to wait.
Then.
He's going to wait, Paulie, I think, till opening day. He's going to wear them to school.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him, we were watching TV the other night, and I had my arm around him, and I go, so, are you excited for baseball season? And he goes, no. And I go, the Padres. Are you excited to watch the Padres? He goes, no. And I go, uh-oh, why? He goes, well, they're not going to be good. They lost Juan Soto. I go, they're going to be fine. You got. This is part of being a fan. You got to grind this thing out, And he goes, okay, all right, I will. And he'll be all about it. Once he sees Manny take the field and Tatis take the field, he'll be all about it. But out of the mouth of babes, you know what I mean? Like, very blunt answer. Nope. I go, oh, okay. And he doesn't quite get how it works yet, but I'm trying to explain that to him.
As long as I am airing grievances right now, I will take up with Balsamic Vinny in the chat, who is absolutely obsessed with wanting to see me spin the Bean Boozled wheel.
He wants
and
it
looks
so
for
bad.
any
I
excuse.
got it right here.
It's right here.
I didn't do any. I have not done anything bean-worthy today.
We are here to serve our audience.
It is.
It's Bo-boozled.
It's so literally awful.
No.
That can't be the standard. I cannot set a precedent where anytime we're just kind of on a slow segment.
No, let me ask you.
You decide I can spin the wheel.
Let me ask you.
I didn't do anything wrong.
What did you get Bo for his birthday?
You told me I didn't have to get
What did you get
anything
Bo for his
him.
birthday?
After the fact.
What did you get for my kids for their birthday?
I think I got them a video game, but it was like 5 years ago. I
Should we
forgot
all
your
spin the
birthday.
wheel right now
No.
for not, remembering everybody's birthday every single time?
Had the Bean Boozled been here when we forgot your birthday, Paul and I would have spun it 5 times.
Many times, absolutely.
Yep. Spin it up. You can do it.
It's juicy pear or booger.
Oh. Hang on.
Save
God,
him saying booger.
if you're out there, please let it be booger.
I would spin it, but I don't feel well.
So it's this kind of mottled green looking one.
Get in there.
I don't see any of them.
I mean, Craig's been picking all the booger beans out of there.
Which one would
Let
you
me
say?
see.
Do you see the
Give
look
it to
for
me.
that one and see if you can find it? I don't know. Has someone eaten all the boogers already?
Somebody's been eating the boogers out of here. You're right. You know what that means.
Don't. That's it.
You gotta
I'm
spin
off
it
the
again,
hook.
dog.
No, I'm
Yeah.
off the hook.
Here,
That, I
Just
spun.
pick one.
I'll spin it for you. That's booger again.
It's almost-
I'm so sorry.
Now what?
Oh no.
You tell me.
Well, no. I
Just
need.
give
I
him
need
a
what the
damn
choice
jelly
is.
bean.
Here.
What I need to know what to expect.
You know, you're familiar with that one.
Oh no, it's not the
You're
fish
familiar?
again. No, it's not.
Strawberry banana
It could
smoothie
be-
or dead fish. Could be strawberry banana smoothie.
Oh, doesn't that sound good?
I don't want dead fish again. It almost made me throw up.
Go ahead. Maybe it's
So
a
sad.
smoothie. Next year,
See if you forget Bo's birthday next year. Oh no.
Oh, I think it is. It is, isn't it? Just wash it down, quick.
Well, it ain't strawberry
It's
smoothie.
not strawberry smoothie, is it?
No, strawberry banana.
Oh,
Oh,
lucky.
you son of a...
Not my favorite, but it's definitely better than dead fish.
Well,
It's so stressful though.
that was stressful. You have a chance right here. Hannah just tweeted just now, my wife. Both schools having a jogathon to raise money to teach them stuff we can't. Seriously, do not feel obligated unless you're Ben. But
I will happy to come and jog
No.
at the jogathon.
Try to best show his
how many laps do you think I can do?
classmates what a baller he is. So you got to donate $10 to it. Okay?
Oh, I don't get to jog.
No, you're not jogging. You get to donate though.
Get a little cup of orange drink at the end
So
and everything at the jogathon.
I'll make sure. Oh, I'm so. You're brave for doing that.
Yeah.
I won't do it again. I'm sorry.
All right, I can sign up. $1 a lap or what is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Some
I don't know how it
sort
works.
of per lap I will sign up for the jogathon.
You know, one thing the Ben and Woods program will never do? We'll never ask your money for a jogathon that we're doing. Never. I promise you, on my lives
the
of
Ben and
my
Woods
children.
5K is scheduled for this Sunday morning at 7 a.m. is a statement you will never hear. From
Never.
this show.
Never. I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for money for, hey, you don't, the more money, the more laps we'll jog. Absolutely not. That will never happen.
Are there tier ones out there who would love us to host a 5K at some point?
There is no way. There is no
fun, Ben and Woods
way.
5K and fun run.
There is no
around Deanza Cove in Mission Bay.
You know, it's funny. Till you brought up
awful.
Till you brought up the shoes, I didn't even think about you not getting Bo a gift. I just knew Paulie and Megan wanted to get him something. He was very happy. He loved those.
We're not having kids. We love spoiling
That's
those
right.
little guys.
You got
Paul
kids.
I probably won't get him something for his 17th birthday.
Right.
Paul is an ace gift giver.
He is a really good gift
He's
giver.
really good at it.
He is.
He really makes us all look bad
Yeah,
with
he
the
does.
quality, the thoughtfulness, the generosity
I mean, I give you a rangefinder.
that he puts into his
That's pretty
gifts.
good.
That was good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
When the box came from Nike, I opened it up and there was just a little tiny Jordan box, and I just was like, I wanted to start crying. Like, they're so small.
They're so small. He was so excited about the Air Jordan sticker too. I mean, look at Michael Jordan too. All these years later, still just killing the game, man. Like,
I mean, he's retired 20 years before Bo was even born.
Bo's watched some highlights of him, and he's enamored with it. He's really getting into basketball a lot, and it's I can't really help him there. So I'm like, yeah, he loves White Man Can't Jump. He loves that movie, so he's really getting into that scene.
Ben and Woods fun run for the cure.
To pass.
Can we find a cure for running?
Pass.
That's what I would like to
I found
cure.
it, actually. I found it. I have it. I have it in me. Do not do it. I can't do it now.
Oh,
so.
I'm just so relieved it was strawberry banana
I am
smoothie.
too, for your sake. I really am. That thing
I could have. I
stinks.
mean, booger is not the worst of that.
Now we've all
list.
eaten boogers. We all have.
We know what they taste like.
Yeah,
at
you're like,
least.
all right.
Accidentally, whatever.
I just don't know why there aren't any in there.
They're bitter and salty.
That's
but,
weird.
You know.
Somebody really has been eating the booger beans
That
out
was
of
never one of the ones that we ate.
Man,
No.
Annie and Elston getting hungry in the middle of the day. Lunch they've got one option.
That's one thing.
In the studio, and they're looking for the beans that can get them through 4 hours of radio.
That's right. That's right.
All right, tomorrow we will continue our Tier 1 tour with the Philadelphia Phillies after we talked to Skip Schumaker today. Might as well remain with the high-level preview guest. We will be joined by relief pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, an occasional opener starter. Matt Strom is going to be with us on the program tomorrow as we continue our team-by-team countdown until opening day, previewing every roster. So we're going through the NL East right now. And we'll get to catch up with Matt and see how he's doing. Now, you did not, last time at Fantasy Camp, didn't you guys get to see him play golf with him?
We usually see him out there every year, but because he has a house in Peoria and would work out there during the off season, but he bought a house. He was telling us last year how getting the multi-year deal for the first time in his career, how much of a change that was for him and his family to be able to actually buy a home and not just rent one wherever they happen to be going year to year or whatever like that. And so they just wanted to stay in Philadelphia. They've planted some roots there now.
And I would think it's not so much that you can afford it now, but even for an athlete, if you don't know you're going to be somewhere more than a year, the process of having to go through the entire home sale and then having to undo it 1 year later.
Well, he said even if I get traded or whatever, he's like, owning a home in Philadelphia is not a terrible
Yeah,
thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's an investment.
So now he feels like at least he knows he's secure for a little while and has a home base that he's willing to come back to. That I can imagine that is a really good feeling for an athlete like Matt Strom to get to that level of your career where you feel now comfortable that you can set down some roots somewhere.
And again, that's a team where a lot is expected. The expectations are very high in Philly, and they've gotten close but no cigar. And so I'm sure the pressure is on in Philadelphia to go out and win a World Series. And like I said, man, they've gotten close, and they're kind of in it, and they expect to be in it every year. And Matt's now got a taste of that postseason experience. He told me, he goes, I've never done drugs. He goes, I imagine that is what it feels like. When I came in and got that save. Said it was the best moment of his career. It was really cool as a friend of the show, too. So he'll be joining us tomorrow to talk some Phillies.
All right, looking forward to that. Anything else on tap the rest of this week? We're getting close to spring training, as we said. Sammy Levitt's going to be out there this weekend. We'll start chatting with him daily on the reg Monday morning from spring training as the Padres report to camp. I think the Dodgers actually report tomorrow.
Do they really?
I think so. I think they're out even a couple of days earlier. So the official kickoff of spring training in Arizona is now just hours away. Do you feel like they're getting an advantage by being out there early?
I mean, no.
I don't really, but
I think they're going to win 100 games, pretty easily.
They'll be fine.
I think they're going to be okay. Yeah.
Get some new faces, obviously, that they're going to have to work into the mix here. But
get James Paxton acclimated. Right. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Regular season's never been their issue.
No, never.
Probably
ever.
not going to be their issue again this year.
I would. That's a safe assumption. It's going to be tough. I mean, when we go out and pick our division winners, it's not going to please me to pick the Dodgers to win the West, but I think there's no one in the country that doesn't think they're going to win the West, right? In the world.
That's an interesting. Will any of the reputable prognosticators, any of them not have the Dodgers winning the West? I don't think so.
There's no way.
I don't think so. All right, that's it for our show. Annie and Elston coming up next for Paulie and for Woods. I'm Ben. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. From all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.